Thunderstorm Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
5:05 is our time right now. Little chilly as you're heading out the door, 59 degrees. You can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you wherever you go. Listen to the show from anywhere. All you have to do is download our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you. Welcome in to the Marc Cox Morning Show, back in the studio this morning, and not live out somewhere at a country club where we would be getting a free breakfast at some point, Kim.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm kind of missing that.
Yeah, I've missed the shorter commute as well.
I'm missing it too.
Oh, nice, Ethan. Ethan's like, dang, they're back. I got to deal with them again. They're back in the studio. What are we doing? Oh, my goodness. So, by the way, I wore this shirt just for you today, Kim.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Did you see my new Sammy Hagar shirt?
Is that the new one,
from
huh?
The concert the other night.
How many do you have now?
It looks very similar to the one from 2 years ago, just the one different name on it and the tour dates on the back. So, I'm very excited. Thank you.
Do you get a T-shirt at every concert
I do
you go
not.
to?
I do not.
They're like
I don't.
$60, I feel like. It's kind of like when you go to
50.
one of the games, you know, a Blues game, a Cardinals game, and you want to get a T-shirt that would normally cost you $15 somewhere else, and they're going to hike it up to $50.
What do we know about Mark?
Mark's willing to pay whatever for Sammy Hagar gear?
See, this is wrong. You are wrong about me, young lady. I'm frugal.
Yeah?
I ordered this on Etsy, and I got it for half price.
Did you really?
I did. I absolutely did.
Did it take you 6 weeks to ship from China?
No, it was some girl in Georgia somewhere printed it for me.
Oh, I'm
nice?
sorry, Etsy. I'm thinking of
Temu.
Temu.
No,
yeah.
no,
Okay.
Etsy. I ordered
Etsy's
this.
better. Yeah.
I also ordered a Rush T-shirt because I'm going to go see them next month, and got it for half price. So I'm like, why would I go to the concert and pay $50 when I could get it for $25?
So that
which
looks
is
just
much
like
closer.
the one that he's selling.
Spitting image. I have no idea if they've got licensing rights or not.
Probably, and probably violated it.
I didn't ask. It was for sale. I bought it. So there you have it. So anyway, that's what I did because I don't like paying $50 for a plain, cotton T-shirt. It's nothing fancy. I'll just have to tell you.
I don't think I've ever gotten. I don't go to that many concerts, but I don't think I've ever gotten a T-shirt from a concert I've gone to.
It's just like proof of life. It's like proof that I was that. Like I wouldn't buy a concert T-shirt from a concert I didn't go to. So if you see me wearing the shirt, I've been to that concert. That's just kind of how I am, and I've got my few favorite rock stars, The Who, and people like that, and I bought various shirts over the years. Van Halen, obviously.
There is a trend with girls where they'll wear T-shirts like Rolling Stones or Pink Floyd or something.
Yeah.
And
No clue who they are.
Yeah, you find them at like a thrift store or something like that, or you just order them on Etsy, and yeah, it's a style.
Well, my biggest regret is that I used to have like some vintage rock T-shirts, but over the years they either got thrown away or worn out or whatever. I should have saved those because they would have been a lot cheaper and more cost effective. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. We're glad you're here with us this morning. If you're watching us on the Window World webcam, thank you for that. We're up on all the socials, so we appreciate that. You can download the podcast anytime you'd like to if you've missed anything. We had a great interview yesterday with Rocky Sickman when we were out at Whitmore Country Club there for the Folds of Honor event with his perspective on this deal with Iran. I thought it was very unique because he was one of the few people in the world who can say he was there when this all started. Mm-hmm. And he's got an important perspective on it. And every morning I hear these headlines about, oh, this is an awful deal. I listened to some Washington Times reporter this morning talking about how, 69% of people in a YouGov survey. That's like going out on the street out here and asking any butthead that walks by what their opinion is, regardless of how ill-informed it might be. I don't base my opinion on polls. That you shouldn't base your opinion on polls, particularly a YouGov poll, which is even less scientific than many of the other polls out there, because all they do is put a thing up online and you're allowed to go on and vote on it. Who knows how many people voted twice? I don't know. They claim 69% of people in a YouGov poll disagree that the goals were met in Iran. What in the hell do they know? I'm no Iranian expert, but I have been observing this for 47 years. I wasn't involved in it like Rocky Sickman was, but I can tell you one thing. This is a different agreement than what Obama had, partially because it was enforced militarily. And they now know that they'll get punched in the gut again if they don't follow through. Obama's agreement never had any teeth in it, ever. And whatever it is not final yet. And yet everybody's a critic. So I just think people need to hold off for a little while and give this thing a chance. We're in a much different place than we were before. And I think Rocky acknowledged that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and he also just gave really interesting insight into what he experienced when he was held hostage for those 444 days by Iran. I know some of you might know his story, but I learned things yesterday that I had not heard before.
He was tortured. He wasn't allowed. He saw daylight six or seven times in the course of 444 days.
Tied to a chair for the first 40 some odd days.
And many of the terrorists who abducted him and tortured him were still in power in Iran 47 years later. And Donald Trump took many of them out with one bomb. One bomb. Wiped out many of those derelicts. And, of course, there are others that have been brainwashed over the years. They just kind of filled the gaps, but still. There was some regime change, even if it was getting rid of the 80-year-olds for the 60-year-olds. I mean, whatever it happened to be, they did wipe out some of the top echelon leaders over there. And we'll see. I don't trust Iran. I don't. But they also know. It's just like with a bully. They're going to keep it up till you punch them in the nose, and then they're less likely to do it again. I'm not saying they won't, and I don't trust them, but I just think people are being entirely too critical. Go back and listen to that interview yesterday. We've got it up on the podcast. You can hear it. We're going to get John Lamping on this morning. We'll talk to him about all of this. Todd Piro, my friend Mark Walters, a little bit later. Looking forward to that because Walters, I want him to comment on that Supreme Court decision regarding guns. And there's another court decision, which was an appeals court, I think, on silencers, which I thought was unique. If you have a suppressor or a silencer, or you've gone out and bought one since the government stopped charging you for them back in January, like a penalty fee. There was an interesting ruling on that yesterday. We'll talk about that with Mark this morning. So we've also got a lawyer professor on a little later who's written a new book, and basically he takes a look at the Constitution and how much we actually follow it these days. And I think it'll be a pretty eye-opening interview. That's going to be in the 8 o'clock hour. All right, Ethan, right now, let's go ahead and get to those top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
No, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out.
Yeah, despite being a little overmodulated, that was Tucker Carlson. They're telling you that he's done. Tucker Carlson is out. He's no longer a Republican. He no longer supports the Republican Party. In fact, he doesn't know who he might vote for, but it will never, ever again be a Republican because Jews are bad.
No, we had vandalism. No, vandal. We have I think 290, 300-foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind. Or we had people lifting up the basic, some of the, it's not a lot of damage, but we'll probably have to let the water out and refix it.
Yeah. These derelicts who went in and vandalized the reflecting pool and now dyed their hair green, and they're walking up and down the side of the reflecting pool celebrating the fact that it's filled with algae. There are some mentally ill people in this country. Most of them are on the left side of the equation, and we're seeing it in real time in Washington, D.C.
I want somebody to sue. Because if a contractor did this at your house, this is what you would do. I think the country needs to say, we're suing you for doing this without our permission.
Yeah, speaking of people not informed, Whoopi Goldberg there claiming that, well, let's find out who the contractor was and sue him, instead of prosecuting the people that very likely vandalized the pool and waded in it and cut the liner that was just installed.
It's no wonder special interests are trying to make Amendment 4 disappear, using activist judges to keep voters in the dark. They don't want you to know that Amendment 4 bans foreign interests from interfering in our electoral process.
Yes, thank you. There's finally an ad running in favor of Amendment 4. We've had this garbage that the Realtors Association is running even on our own station here. They bought the ad time through a national ad buy, and they're running these ridiculous, misleading commercials over and over and over again. And finally, we're hearing some defense of Amendment 4 and initiative petition reform. It's common sense. We're going to talk more about that here in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned, and I'll play that full ad for you and let you listen to it. The voter guide, by the way, will be out before the end of the week. So stay tuned for that, because early voting starts this week, and I want to make sure people have all of the information they need to make the correct decision on their ballots. We'll get to that and more for you in just a few minutes. Right now, here's our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning to you. We look good except for eastbound 70, which is jammed due to road work, and this would be east of Highway T to approaching Highway Z, and it's just a jam again due to lane closures and road work out there. And other than that, it's been quiet. We look good even on northbound 55 through its multiple construction zones. We're even quiet on the Illinois side at this hour. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report is brought to you by McKelvey Homes on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Well, my lawn's looking particularly good this year. I'll have to give you credit for that. Now, Mother Nature's helped. There's been quite a bit of rain. I know that is a key to getting your yard looking great. But the other thing is my friends at Lawn Enforcement, because they've been out there treating it. They've treated it for grubs. They're going to treat it for weeds. It's being mowed regularly, which is outstanding, and that keeps it looking good. The landscaping, though, is what kind of teed it off here. Now, when I tell you that no job is too big or small for my friends at Lawn Enforcement, I got new landscaping put in the back of my house, which is not obvious if you're looking at it from the street. However, the existing landscaping over the past 15 years had kind of been knocked around. It was a little out of place and kind of uneven. And while they were there, they went in and they fixed that for me. And it looks fantastic. It looks just like it did when it was originally installed. And I love that. So anything you've got going on in your yard, Lawn Enforcement is going to help you step it up and make your yard look that much better. They can also help with landscape design and installation on top of that. So reach out to Brandon. They give you military discounts if you're active duty or retired. Mention that to them. Tell them you heard Marc Cox bragging about them. You can go online and you can order your service or an estimate today at yourlawnenforcement.com.
Here's a World Soccer Championship preview.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. Control of Group L is in the balance in Foxborough as England faces Ghana in a matchup of two sides that won their openers. England was very impressive in scoring 4 times against Croatia, with Harry Kane recording a brace. In the other half of the group, Croatia faces Panama, with both teams coming off losses. I'm Mike Conti.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
The time now is 5:23, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
All right, 5 weeks now, roughly, till the election, and I've been paying a lot of attention because I'm working on the voter guide that I'm going to get out to you this week. I think that's important. People are going to start voting early. I will inevitably start getting questions. Where's the voter guide? You know, I'm going to vote absentee or whatever, and they just need to know. So I'm working on it. But it has chapped my rear end just a tad that we've got the other side of these issues, and you're going to hear it for Amendment 5, which would eliminate your state taxes. That's a yes. And now you're hearing it for Amendment 4, which is a yes, in my opinion, because it makes it more difficult to amend the Missouri Constitution. It's a no-brainer. And I'm on Facebook yesterday arguing with people who claim to be conservatives who think they're against this. And you know why they think they're against it? Well, it's not fair. It restricts the people from putting an initiative petition, but it doesn't restrict the legislators. Chicken crap. What are we talking about here? You elect your legislators. Every couple of years, you have to go to the polls and vote for your legislators. It's why the argument is term limits happen every time there's an election. If you don't like the individual, vote them out. You tell you elect people based on what they tell you they're going to do for you. If they're not doing it, get rid of them. Yes, the legislature can vote on an issue and then put it on the ballot. But you know what the legislature doesn't do? They don't go out and buy millions of dollars in ads to try to coerce and lie to you to pass whatever it is they put on the ballot. That's the problem here. The citizen initiative petition in Missouri has been ruined. It's been ruined by these outside forces like Planned Parenthood, like George Soros and many other billionaires. He's just the first one that comes to mind here, who decide they want to alter the Missouri Constitution. They want to bypass the elected legislature, and based on a slim majority that they can rake together in Kansas City and Springfield and St. Louis, they want to override the will of the people, many of whom haven't been told the truth about whatever the issue is, and they get their minions to go out and vote for it, and they buy it into the Constitution. That's what's going on. This is our first chance ever to reform that. And this is a solid yes. I don't know why it's a wrong argument to say, but it's not fair. It should be harder for the legislators to put something on the ballot. No, it shouldn't. They've already passed the test of being elected by their constituents and put on there. Now, with that said, there's a new ad finally running. We're going to get these folks on here Thursday talking about this, supporting Amendment 4. Go ahead and play cut 1, please.
It's no wonder special interests are trying to make Amendment 4 disappear, using activist judges to keep voters in the dark. They don't want you to know that Amendment 4 bans foreign interests from interfering in our electoral process, prosecutes anyone who tries to commit election fraud, and mandates voters see the full ballot language. Keep special interests and foreign governments out of Missouri elections. Vote yes on Amendment 4.
Yes. So vote yes on Amendment 4. This is as clear as the very large nose on my face. I don't understand what the debate is. The only people that hate this are the crazy left liberals, and why any conservatives are participating with them, I have no idea. Name one issue for me right now that you feel like needs to be installed in the Missouri Constitution that you don't agree should represent a majority of people who vote. And right now you can get something in there that doesn't represent that. All this does is guarantee that in each congressional district, at least 50% of the people plus one vote agree that that should be in the Constitution. That means you have representation everywhere in the state before the Constitution is amended, as opposed to 3 large, deep blue areas that keep forcing garbage like abortion on demand until birth down our throats. This is your chance to make a difference. I don't know when it'll ever be on the ballot again. You got to vote yes on 4 and, of course, yes on 5. Again, we'll talk more about this throughout the day. We'll be back with Kim on a Whim in just a minute.
Hey contractors, take your home improvement business to the next level with Menard's free design and buy programs. Design your client's next kitchen, closets, door, windows, the list goes on. Show them what their finished project will look like and get your material costs at the same time. Save your work to your Menards.com account for easy reference. We even deliver materials right to your job site. Let Menards supply all of your building needs.
Save big money at Menards.
Looking for a smarter, safer way to invest? For a limited time, lock in a great rate with Together Credit Union's 11-month CD special. From day one, your return on investment is guaranteed. No market swings, no surprises. Just a competitive, fixed rate that steadily grows your deposit. Make your money work harder with a financial partner that puts you first. Visit a Together Credit Union branch near you or go online to togethercu.org to learn more. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
All right, if you were paying any attention, this could be a beautiful day, but it may be the last beautiful day we have for a few days because I think there's rain in the forecast, and that is great news for some. It is bad news for people who have a leaky basement, and that's why Home Shield Foundation Repairs has been in business for the past 20-plus years, and my friend Matt Hayes will be happy to come over and take a look at your issue. Whatever it is, we all got issues, trust me, but if your issue is a leaky basement, you want Home Shield Foundation Repairs on the job because you need somebody that's going to be honest about the fix, who's not trying to beat you up for work that you don't need, and that's what Matt brings to the table. Here's his phone number, 314-271-9900. That's the number to call. It's going to get you somebody from Home Shield over there to take care of the problem once and for all, and then you get a lifetime warranty. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. It's online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street will be reacting today to earnings from Carnival Cruise Lines, and after the market close, we'll hear from FedEx, KB Home, and AI infrastructure company Cerebras Systems. Troy Gajewski, chief market strategist at Future Standard, says lower crude oil prices will help the economy and consumer.
From a consumer standpoint, the consumer savings rates drop significantly. Obviously, there's some stresses in the lower income deciles. And so having oil mercifully retreat from, a high not so long ago of above 110 to something in the high 70s is major progress, particularly on the inflation front for those in the lower income deciles.
Also today, S&P Global releases updates on the economy for both manufacturing and the services sector for June. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads right now. If you're just headed out, it's early enough that it's quiet, and that's on both the Missouri and Illinois sides. Really no delays. We look good through North County. Things have thinned out on eastbound 70 as you head for the Wentzville area. And 44 and 64 also look good. We're quiet on the Illinois side. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, flooring is something unique to everybody. Everybody's got their preferences. Maybe you like to wake up and put your feet in carpeting that is nice and warm and soft, and other people prefer the hardwood because sometimes it's easier to clean. Wherever you land in that, stop by Michael's. If you're looking at new flooring, if you're considering it, go get their opinion. Go get a second opinion on what you're about to buy. Carpeting has changed over the years. Flooring has changed. Luxury vinyl is nothing like it used to be. People used to think of vinyl flooring as like the cheapest option you could get in a house. And these days, you can get vinyl that looks like tile. Honestly, the choices are endless. You need to go and open your eyes to what's out there, depending on what you're looking for. At Michael's, they've got a lot of those great Mohawk products, including the waterproof wood. It's unbelievable. It looks like a hardwood floor. You can put it in a basement, and it's impervious to water even if you were to spill something or have a leak down there. So check them out. Old Town, they're right there off of 70 and Mid Rivers Mall Drive in Old Town St. Peter's. They're, of course, in Darden Prairie off of N, and they are on Olive west of 270. Tell them Mark sent you. It's igotfloor.com.
Today, the Cards, the D-backs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
Data centers don't wait, and neither should your supply chain. From power and connectivity to racks and critical power, Graybar brings the products and the experience data centers need now. And with deep inventory and logistics expertise, we keep projects moving from first delivery to final install. With hundreds of locations and a nationwide delivery fleet, we help you bring facilities online, on time, and on budget. Yep, Graybar does that.
When you're hurt in a rideshare accident, whether you're the driver or the passenger, the questions come fast. Who's responsible? What's next? At Kaufman Townsley, we understand how complicated rideshare accidents can be. We know the insurance companies and we know how to hold them accountable. We're local, we're experienced, and we'll fight until you get the justice you deserve. Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
I can't say I'm that surprised that Tucker Carlson says he's done with the Republican Party, because the things he's been saying recently have made many of us question, where are you going? You were this big Fox News guy, and it seemed like you were this staunch Republican, and now things have just started shifting. He's kind of in line with Candace Owens. I don't know if they're hanging out and chatting, but it seems like they're kind of on the same crazy train, and I'm not sure the direction it's going, but it doesn't look good. But I want to play for you, because I know you played part of this clip of Tucker saying he's done with the Republican Party, but I want you to hear it's a longer clip of him sharing his thoughts on this.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? It's not possible to vote for people like that, and I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, right. MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender. But there's no defending this, because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation, and they're not doing that. So, no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out.
Here's the twist in all of this. Tucker Carlson is out of the Republican Party because Tucker Carlson hates Israel. He'll argue that he doesn't hate all Jews. He just hates the state of Israel as it exists right now and the leaders in the state of Israel. I say you can't separate the two. That's what I'm going to argue to you. I think that's chicken crap. Now, I've got somebody on the text line this morning, Rick, on the text line, 314-241-9797, who is mostly for Trump, admits he's a Zionist, which means he supports Israel, and now he's mad at Trump because he thinks Trump is hurting Israel with the MOU. We can't have it both ways.
Yep.
Tucker's out because he thinks we did something to help the Jews, and Rick is out because he thinks we've done something to hurt the Jews.
Now, but see, I would argue, though, that you can separate the two. You can like Jewish people, but you can dislike the leaders in Israel.
Why?
There's plenty of people who dislike Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm not arguing I'm in that camp, but why could you not separate the two?
They're fighting for their survival. They are the only democratic republic in the Middle East, they're our strongest ally.
No, I agree with that, but why can't you support it? Or why can't you
They're a blip of red
separate it?
surrounded by radical Islam that wants them wiped off the face of the earth. I support Israel. I support their right to exist. I support their right to fight back against these folks. I don't think the MOU stops them from doing that. They're in a much better position today than they were when Iran still had 90% of its missiles, which they don't anymore, and an Air Force and a Navy. They don't have those things anymore. Israel's in a much better position today than it was before this thing started. I do not believe we did it just because of Israel. I think we did it because we have a president who's got a beach ball. He's got oranges the size of beach balls, as John Kennedy said about him. It needed to be done.
I agree with everything you're saying. The only thing I disagree with is that you can dislike the leadership in Israel, but you can support Jewish people. I know people who very much support Jews, but do not like Benjamin Netanyahu. And I don't really know how I feel about it. I've seen some weird things about Netanyahu, but I'm not going over to that camp. I agree with everything you're saying. Israel has a right to exist. They are surrounded by people who want to wipe them off the face of the earth, and they are fighting for their survival. They've been doing that for years and years and years and years, and they're going to, sadly, it's biblical, they're going to continue doing that. This is not going to stop it. It's a major step in the right direction. It won't stop it, but it needed to be done. Trump has put Israel in a better position. My only contention would be, again, that you can dislike leadership in Israel but support Jews.
Well, I just think Tucker's argument here that he's left the party over this makes zero sense to me. It just makes zero sense to me.
I just wonder if that's the only thing.
It's not his argument is basically, if I understood what he said right there, is that Donald Trump is not MAGA because he attacked Iran. If he was solely working in the best interest of the United States, he never would have done that and gone to war. Well, nonsense. We're better off with an Iran that is cooperative and compliant to whatever extent they will be now than they were before. We're better off. Our oil prices are going to be better off. The world is better off. I have no idea where Tucker suddenly decided that he's found this moral center that he'll never budge from, and Donald Trump has violated it, and he'll never support a Republican again. Go pound sand, Tucker. I could care less if you never support the Republican Party again. I mean, I consider myself a conservative first and a Republican second.
Same.
But regardless, there's only one party that's ever going to be elected that you have any chance it's going to represent you in any way, shape, or form if you consider yourself a conservative, and that's the Republican Party. What, he's just not going to vote now?
Well, and that's the big question. So let's just take what he said at the very end out and talk about that. He was talking about how if I'm leaving the Republican Party, he's like, I'm not voting Democrat, but I can't vote Republican. I don't know what I'm going to do. So there was this article, and I remember this back in January of this year, that talked about there was this new high of 45% of people in the United States identifying as political independents. And then there's a little caption below it says, more independents lean Democratic than Republican, giving Democrats the edge in party affiliation for the first time since 2021. So, if you took the same poll now, because again, this was 6 months ago, would you have that same finding, assuming this is even accurate, that more and more people are saying, I'm politically independent? But what does that even mean? I would really be curious to see these people who claim they're independent. And I think it's kind of what you said, where I like to say I am conservative. I'm a conservative Christian. Now, I have to pick the party that most closely aligns with my values. I don't support everything the Republican Party does, but if I have to pick between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, hands down, I'm going Republican Party. But I'm not. I don't feel super loyal. Just because you have an R in front of your name doesn't mean squat. I know some people who have an R in front of the name who are the biggest liars and cheaters, and they don't represent the values that are most important to me. So I don't really care that you have an R in front of your name, but I'm at least going to. The likelihood of me supporting you over a Democrat is about 100. It's 100%.
Sure.
I just don't know a single Democrat who I've looked at since I've kind of had this major transformation in my life back in, what was it, like 2020, where I've thought, yeah, I can get behind that. I can.
Or you could join the Green Party and never, ever get your candidate elected, or the Libertarian Party and never, ever, you could throw your vote away every election, or you could vote for the party that's going to have some semblance of what you support as opposed to what's going on the left in this country right now. That's my only point. To Richie's point on here, the craziest thing about all of this is that traditionally and regularly, the American Jewish community votes for the Democratic Party, the party that's least likely to have their interests in mind.
Well, maybe that will
do
shift.
It for, I don't know, for social justice issue, whatever garbage they've cooked up in their minds, they're against the very country that was created to be a safe haven for Jews in Israel, in their homeland of Israel.
How could a Jew get behind Graham Plattner in Maine? How?
I have no idea.
Someone explain that. You can have transformation in your life
with a
just
Nazi
like I've had, but
tattoo on his chest.
I don't get that. By the way, saw something else that said that on Polymarket, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a prediction market platform. So take it with a grain of salt. But it said that Tucker Carlson's chances of winning the 2028 Republican, well, he wouldn't even identify as a Republican. Says that they jumped to nearly 10% on Monday, and I looked this morning and it said it was 5%. It was JD Vance was, I believe, first, then Marco Rubio, then it was Tucker Carlson, and then I think after that it was Don Trump Jr.
There was a new poll out yesterday on the Democrats. Did you see that one? It had Gavin Newsom in third place, Kamala Harris in second place, and the new candidate in the race was dominating now. And I'd never heard of this candidate before. Do you know who green algae is? Apparently, that individual is now leading the race for the Democrats.
Mr.
It's
Green
amazing.
Algae? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, it's incredible.
It could be Miss. I don't know what its pronouns
Maybe
are.
it's
I just don't
they,
know.
them.
Yeah, it could be.
They,
All
them,
right.
green algae.
All right. Quick break, and we'll get to some more of your reaction to my rant about Amendment 4 earlier. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we really are looking good. If you're just headed out, things look fine on the eastbound 70, and this is from out west into downtown. We really do look good through there. And no problems if you happen to be on the Illinois side at this hour, thinking about taking any of the bridges in from downtown. Northbound 55 looks good from down south into the city. So we are off to a good start. I'll keep you posted. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
All right, just remember goldenoaklending.com. That might be the answer to your problem. Might be the answer to what's kept you up all night, not being able to sleep, tossing and turning, waking up in a cold sweat because you know you've got a big credit card payment that's due and you just don't have the cash right now, and you know you're going to get penalized with that 30% interest rate. Listen, it's a problem. It's a problem across America. You can be ashamed about it, but why not just fix it? If you're a homeowner, Golden Oak Lending has probably got the answer for you. Call them up and ask them, because here's the great thing about them. If they can help you, they're happy to do that. If they don't think they can help you, they'll just tell you. So call today and get your answer at 314-567-GOLD. Credit card debt is at record highs, but also the amount of equity you have in your house is pretty high. And if you're a homeowner, you can do a cash-out refinance. You can refinance at a great low rate. Call up Golden Oak, find out what that rate is in your situation, and get that money. Maybe in the next 14 days, pay off that credit card. You sleep better. It's that easy. 314-567-GOLD, goldenoaklending.com. Tell them you heard of Marc Cox talking about them. Their NMLS number is 114937.
We're here to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. This is 97.1 FM Talk. America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
All right. I would agree with that. But one of the dumbest things I've heard is this ad that keeps running ad nauseum on my radio station about Amendment 4, paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance. Now just Google it. Google it. It's the Missouri Realtors Association. Think about that. Now, somebody commented on here, why does your radio station keep running that ad? Well, we are a commercial radio station. And as much as I would like some of you to believe that I have the power to march down the hallway to the end of the hall and tell my boss, hey, I don't want us making money anymore. You can't run that ad. I don't have that power. And there are election laws in this country that say if a candidate, or in this case, a political action group, pays for ad time, we pretty much have to sell it to them unless it's, obscene or something like that. Now, I think it's obscene because it's a lie, but there's nothing I can do about that ad running. What I can do is give you my opinion on it and tell you why I think they're wrong, which is what I'm trying desperately to do here on the radio each morning because I am in support of Amendment 4. Here's how outrageous this is. This is what I want people to think about for a minute. Let's just say, now, because my friend Brad jokingly sent me a text earlier, Kim, suggesting that he is in support of a constitutional amendment to limit concert T-shirts to only $25.
I would support that.
I'm like, I'm in. Let's all get on board and we'll sign the petitions. If we just had a couple $1 million to pay people an hourly wage to go out and harass people and lie to them to get them to put their signature on a petition, because that's what happened to me in Defiance when these clean ballot people who were trying to stop initiative petition reform were lying to people about what it really was. So we know that happens. If you've got enough money, you can buy your way onto the ballot. But if we went in, let's just say we have a grassroots movement and we want an initiative petition, Kim, consider this for a minute, that would say no home in Missouri can be sold for more than $150,000. We're just going to cap it. You can't charge more than $150,000 for your home, no matter what it's worth. Think about that. I wonder if the Missouri Realtors Association would support that one. Because if they had, imagine how popular that idea would be. Everybody would love to buy a home for just $150,000. Well, if we just get enough signatures on this petition, guess what? That issue is going to be on the ballot. And then if 50% of the people, and there are many more takers than there are producers these days, pass that, then it goes in the Missouri Constitution that nobody's allowed to charge more than $150,000 for their home, for the sale of their property. What do? Do you go to court? Well, maybe, but guess what? It's now part of the Missouri Constitution because 50% of people plus one who were motivated to go to the polls. So it's not necessarily representative of the entire state. It's just representative of the people motivated by that issue to go vote that day can determine what the value of your home is. That's what the Missouri Realtors Association is supporting. It's that kind of nonsense. My only point here is that it should be harder to amend our Constitution. That's all Amendment 4 does. It bans foreign interference, number one, and it guarantees cleaner ballot language, so you have to see all of the language before you vote on the issue, right? Not just something some leftist member of the court has drawn up saying that they claim it's fair, but we know how left of center the court is in Missouri, generally speaking, all the way up to the Missouri Supreme Court, because our law schools are producing these brainwashed people who end up in these positions. This would require a higher threshold to amend the Missouri Constitution. And all it says, it's so simple, is that we have 8 congressional districts. Within each of those congressional districts, at least 50% of the people plus one vote, an even 50% plus one vote, have to support an issue in each of those congressional districts before it gets into the Missouri Constitution. Now, it's possible that enough people would support the idea of a $150,000 house. Even with that standard, it might pass. But it might not. The point is, you have to get a little bit of buy-in from the other side. If I had my druthers, I would have preferred that the threshold be raised from 50% plus one to 57% of the Missouri vote. You'd have to hit a super majority, because that would require some buy-in from the other side. This is just a little different version of that. And I don't think, as long as it took to get this on the ballot, we're ever going to get another shot at it. So I think this is it. We've got to pass this and make it more difficult for these millionaires and these evildoers like Planned Parenthood to push their whims into the Missouri Constitution. We have to make that more difficult. And the way to do that is a yes on 4. Yes on 4. Just remember that when you go to the polls. If you don't remember anything else, and my voter guide explaining all of this to you, including my endorsements in some other races, will be out before the end of the week. So stand by for that. Stand by for news, and we'll have that for you, I promise. All right, coming up, we'll get to the St. Louis Morning Brief. Governor Pritzker's at it again. He's about to sign a social media law despite a lot of concerns about it. We'll talk about that. We got John Lamping. A little later, we'll get to Todd Piro from Fox and Friends first. Stay tuned.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in traffic with hundreds of thoughts racing through her mind, like what she needs to pack for her family's vacation and what they still need from the store. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members of our preferred partner plan get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your AC and furnace at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Iran's president goes to Pakistan. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Continuing talks that got going over the weekend in Switzerland with Vice President Vance leading the way for the U.S. to prevent Iran from having nuclear weapons.
I trust actions. And what the president has asked us to do is verify what they're doing, focus less on what they're saying.
The vice president touts that Iran's allowing nuclear inspectors back into the country. That's, though, being disputed.
Iran's ambassador to the United Nations says there has been no discussion on allowing in inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency. He insists Iranian nuclear activities are for the next stage of talks with the United States.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump insists if Iran does not comply with the deal signed during the 60 days of further talks,
I will do what I have to do.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah claims Israel is violating a ceasefire in Lebanon, firing at civilians, but the Israelis claim they struck armed terrorists who posed a threat to their soldiers.
Hezbollah is to blame here. They killed 5 Israeli soldiers over the weekend. They've been launching drones at Israeli forces in southern Lebanon, and we do expect this issue to remain a priority of conversation in the Memorandum of Understanding.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The polls opening now in Maryland and South Carolina for primaries and runoffs. The voting started an hour ago in New York, where several progressive and socialist candidates are trying to win Democratic primaries for Congress. They'll also vote today in Utah. Now an update in the Nancy Guthrie case. More than 4 months after she was abducted from her home in Arizona, we're learning a second kidnapping ransom note that the Guthrie family got told them she had died.
The note said Nancy was, quote, buried with nature. The sender or senders of the first 2 ransom notes have not been publicly identified, and there have been no reported arrests in connection to them. The notes were received within days of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. The first note demanded millions in Bitcoin in exchange for Nancy's return.
That's Fox's Todd Piro. America's listening to Fox News.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone. Because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your...
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Another chilly start here, sunny and 59 degrees at 6:03. Here's what's making headlines on this Tuesday, June 23rd. A St. Louis City firefighter is on administrative leave after he was caught on video defecating in a box at Lambert Airport. The incident happened back on June 10th. He was seen on surveillance with his pants down, holding the box behind him. Now, his name's not been released because he's not been criminally charged, though we do know he's been with the department since 1995. Lambert says firefighters are on site 24/7 to provide fire protection at the airport. A warning from St. Louis police after a man was shot when he confronted a group of teenagers shooting off fireworks. As you might know, fireworks are illegal to shoot off in the city, though of course that doesn't stop people. Police say they will be responding to illegal fireworks calls, though they admit that priority is low. They also say parents could be cited for their kids shooting them off. By the way, the man who confronted the teens and was shot is expected to be okay. Senator Josh Hawley says Major League Baseball has assured him the San Francisco Giants players who wrote scripture on their hats during Pride Night will not be punished. Hawley shared the letter on X, saying that the MLB commissioner admits they were wrong to threaten the Giants players over the Bible verses and promises never to fine or discipline these players or any players for their religious beliefs. In sports, Cardinals beat the Diamondbacks 3-2 yesterday. Game 2 tonight at Busch Stadium is 6:45. And did you hear Blues icon Keith Tkachuk is being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame? Tkachuk spent 9 of his 18 seasons in the NHL right here in St. Louis with the Blues. He was already inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame back in 2024. The induction ceremony will happen November 9th in Toronto. Coming up on 6:05 here on this Tuesday morning, sunny and 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Kim Sainant for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads if you're just headed out. So far, so good. Now, there's a little bit of volume in the construction zone, but it's westbound 70 before David Hochul Parkway. So if you're traveling in that area, you may see just a little bit of a slowdown. So road work is scheduled today on 370. So 9 a.m. this morning until 9 p.m. tonight. They'll have one left lane closed eastbound between Missouri Bottom and 270. Probably will not cause much of a delay, but I guess you never know. And other than that, yep, we look good at this hour. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Let's enjoy some beautiful summer weather on this Tuesday across St. Louis. Plenty of sunshine and nice. 81 for the high later on today. Tonight, a few clouds around, but all is dry. 64 Wednesday and Thursday. Partly sunny skies. Couple of thunder showers around. Showers here and there, but very limited both days. And both days in the mid-80s. An increase in rain and some thunderstorms Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
59 degrees and sunny right now. It is 6:06. You can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you wherever you go. Listen to the show from anywhere on our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Glad you are here with us on this Tuesday morning, back in the comfortable confines of our studio here in 97.1 FM Talk. After spending the day out at the country club yesterday, we had to go to the club because we were helping our friends at Folds of Honor, which is always a great cause. Love that they were able to raise some cash yesterday, thanks to the Suntrip Automotive Group, Craig Suntrip, and the folks out there who sponsor that every year and bring a ton of money in for Folds of Honor. You mentioned, Kim, there in your news headlines that Keith Tkachuk is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Blues Hall of Fame?
No. He was already inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame back in 2024. This is like the hockey NHL
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And fitting. Yesterday, his two sons were at the Folds of Honor event, Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk. And I walked over after the opening ceremony where they had the great Charles Glenn singing the national anthem. It was outstanding. And they had Matthew Tkachuk was standing over there with Charles Glenn, and he got a picture with Charles. He had his gold medal with him from the Olympic hockey team. And when he was done, some of the other folks who were standing over there, including me and my son Brad, we wanted a picture with him. So he took a picture with us holding the gold medal in the case. And
Was it lit?
That was pretty cool. Thank you very much. Brad will appreciate that. It was really cool. And they asked him, can you stay around for the dinner? Because he was going to golf yesterday. I guess he and his brother golfed in this tournament yesterday. And he just got traded to a different NHL team. And he said, no, actually, I have to catch a flight at 4 o'clock this afternoon to fly to wherever the town was. And I'm not a sports guy, Paco. I'm just telling you. I don't know which team he got traded to. You can look it up. But he had to get on a plane and fly to meet his new team somewhere where he was going to be playing NHL hockey.
Wow.
Isn't
What
that
is
cool?
that life like?
I don't know. You're playing golf in the morning. You just go get on a plane and relocate in the afternoon. It's crazy.
That's nuts. That's cool, though, that they went.
I thought it was pretty cool, yeah, that they were there yesterday. I mean, they had lots of big names out there playing golf, and a lot of people that just love to give their money to great causes. So
he got traded to the Florida Panthers, so he will be playing with his brother.
Oh, no kidding! So he and Brady will play together. That's awesome. I did not know that. I was glad to see them both there, though, and he was a super nice kid, and it was great to meet him yesterday and see that gold medal in person. He had it in a little case. He was carrying it around in a case. I guess you don't want it to get scratched.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Anyway, I posted that picture up on Facebook, the group photo, if you want to go in there and take a look at it yesterday from our time out at Whitmore yesterday. All right, coming up, we've got the St. Louis Morning Brief we're going to get to here with a little more information on some of these local important stories you've been hearing, including some information of what's been happening in a box at the St. Louis airport. And you've heard Kim report on that. So we'll get a few more details. And Justin Timberlake had nothing to do with it. I promise you that. John Lamping is coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk more about these election issues here, and we'll get to in other news. Todd Piro is supposed to join us about 7:20. I'm dropping names here. He just texted me a minute ago, and he goes, I've got a Fox News hit at about the same time. So we'll see what time we get Todd on. If we get him at 7:20 or 7:25 or something like that.
Todd just always expecting the world to go around him,
I know.
isn't he?
I know. I don't know what he's thinking. He's doing his job he's actually getting paid for instead of this one, which technically he doesn't. So we'll get to him at 7:20 for you. And, of course, Wiggins is in a little later. Right now, Ethan, let's get to a few of our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
I've spent a lot of time dealing with the Iranians over the last few months. Sometimes I find them extremely confusing as negotiators.
Yeah, J.D. Vance there out having to take questions and defend all of the criticism of the MOU. We've got 60 days to negotiate this thing. Calm down is what I would say.
I am Alexis McGill Johnson, and I'm the president and CEO of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. And today, the Action Fund is proud to announce the endorsement of Graham Plattner to the U.S. Senate.
Isn't that fantastic?
Shocker.
Eye-opening. They have, for many years, encouraged the, abortion and deletion of certain races in the United States. So why wouldn't they endorse a Nazi? It'd make perfect sense.
This guy's got more skeletons than a cemetery. But when it comes to fighting fascism, here is what this man, Graham Plattner, previously said. Quote, if people, quote, expect to fight fascism without a good semi-automatic rifle, they ought to do some reading of history. This guy's dangerous.
Yeah. Ari Fleischer there talking about this Graham Plattner person. I tell you, folks, we really should be worried about what's going on in this country. This guy's a mainstream candidate for the Democratic Party right now against a woman who far more often than she should sides with the Democrats, but happens to have an R after her name, Susan Collins. That's who they're running against, Susan Collins, a Nazi. Hold on. I've got this here.
What we know for certain is that the United States went to war with Iran, a war that we are losing, that we've effectively lost already, because of pressure from the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, there you have it. A little more from Tucker Carlson if you're just joining us this morning. He announced yesterday he is finished, done, That's it. He's not ever voting Republican again as long as he draws breath in the United States or there's anything resembling a MAGA movement, he claims, which has lied to the American people. That is what Tucker Carlson claimed yesterday. Kim talked about it earlier in her Kim on a Whim. But I just can't get over whatever's happened to Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I loved him when he was on Fox. He was making a lot of sense back then, and he has just had his brain warped by his anti-Semitism. I'll call it that. I think that's what it is. I've got people arguing with me on the text line this morning, 314-241-9797. Don't equate me with that loony Carlson. And they're really angry that I said that you can't separate Jews from Israel.
And I think you can separate those.
I
disagree with that. But because there are documentaries about Benjamin Netanyahu and some of the things that leadership in Israel have done that are questionable. And again, I've not even seen these. I know they exist. I know other people who have watched them who support Jewish people, but do not support Benjamin Netanyahu. So even if that were not the case and I didn't know people personally, I would still make the argument that you could separate the two. I think you can be disappointed is the word I'm going to choose here, disappointed in the MOU. But I don't understand how you can draw the conclusion that the United States has lost. I don't understand how you can look at this scenario and say that Iran is better off. I think you can make the argument that Iran has put up more of a fight than we anticipated. I think that they have drawn this out, which apparently this is kind of their tactic, is they just stall. And in fact, that was what Rocky Sickman said yesterday, who was held in Iran as a hostage for 444 days. And he said this is what they do. They just know that because here in the United States, a new leader is elected every 4 or 8 years, that they just have to draw it out long enough where there's kind of a changing of the guard, and then they can just go back on everything that they said.
And my guess is in that 47 years, what they've probably changed that slightly to is we just have to wait till the next Democrat gets elected.
Probably. Even
though Republicans, including Bush, over the years, didn't do nearly enough to fight them, they're in a situation now where they have Democrats in the United States advocating for them, wanting them to win. They're projecting that the U.S. has lost somehow, that Iran has won simply for political gain. That's it. It's sickening. It makes me sick. Here, I'll just say this one last thing about Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu, for whatever warts people might want to assign to him, has made Israel great again because he's a hawk. And if you've ever been to Israel, and I've got a good friend who lived there for years running a charity, he will tell you there's few other places in the Middle East where Muslim businesses, Arab businesses operate side by side with Jewish businesses in the business district. And in the park, the Arab children are playing with the Jewish children. It is very much an open society within Israel. It's the idiots that surround Israel that send suicide bombers in and open fire and try to kill people because of their religion, their dictate, that caused the problem. Netanyahu has gone to lengths to make sure that doesn't happen and to protect his people. And I would argue that that's what he's done that's been great for Israel, and he should always do that. Every leader should do what's in the best interest of their country. That's what my argument would be to Tucker Carlson here. I think he's completely wrong. All right, went a little long in that segment. We want to get to the St. Louis Morning Brief and find out what's in the box.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Looking good on the roads right now. If you are an eastbound 70 driver, it looks great from Wright City into downtown. There's a little bit of a slowdown on westbound 64 at Highway N, but eastbound looks fine from out west on in. On the Illinois side, we've got so much road work, but at this hour, things are quiet and looking good. There was a little bit of a slowdown on westbound 270 approaching 255, but that's it. We look good on the bridges downtown, and in general, we're quiet. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
All right, my wife out enjoying our camper right now. That's great. That's what we love to do. We find it relaxing, and if you are like us, then what you need to do is get to AVRV. That's the new Apache Village RV Center up in O'Fallon, Missouri. It's the great Apache Village tradition, and they're still open in their original location up in Hazelwood there at 270 in Lindbergh. They had a vision a number of years ago. They bought a chunk of land out near O'Fallon. They have now brought that to reality. They built a huge RV center, a huge service bays, a beautiful store, and about 300 new and used RVs on the lot. There's nothing you've envisioned that they don't have there. Maybe you just want to go window shopping. Maybe you know exactly what you're looking for. You got to go. It's like going to the RV show. I'm just telling you. Plus, you're going to love the customer service. I bought my RV from AVRV, and this is before they started advertising with us. And here's their customer service promise to you. If something goes wrong with your RV and you got a trip coming up, you bought the RV from them, they will prioritize it into the service bay and get it fixed so that your trip is not interrupted. That's Class A customer service right there, and I don't know why you'd want to work with any other RV dealership. Stop by, tell them Mark said hello. They're right there on the South Outer Road by Highway K and 70 in O'Fallon, Missouri. You can go online at avrv.com.
Your home should work for your lifestyle, not against it. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we specialize in transforming kitchens, bathrooms, and basements into spaces you'll love to live in. Whether it's a spa-like bathroom retreat, a chef-inspired kitchen, or a finished basement perfect for entertaining, our design-build experts bring your vision to life. Start your next interior renovation with St. Louis's most trusted remodeling team. Visit lakesiderd.com to schedule a free consultation, and let's create your dream home together.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings right now. 3 rooms clean starting at $129. Plus, take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
Today,
the cards, the D-backs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The time now is 6:20, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. We've got the St. Louis Morning Brief coming up right now.
St. Louis Morning Brief.
All right.
What's in the box?
I thought you were going to play the clip from SNL with Justin Timberlake.
No.
In a box. I won't. We can't play it.
Family show.
I know. Well, sorry if your kids are listening because a St. Louis City firefighter is on administrative leave after surveillance footage caught him pooping in a box inside Lambert Airport.
Like their bathroom was closed? I mean, please tell me there was a good, some sort of reason for this.
It doesn't say his reasoning. What it does say is that this happened, I guess, sort of near where the airport's food and beverage whole situation is. So now they're questioning the handling of the food and could that impact food safety and sanitation. So there was a full video of him doing this. There's actually a picture that I've seen. Of course, his face is blurred out. But the picture, and you can't see, I mean, you can tell his pants are down.
Everywhere.
But it almost looked like he was in a closet with a bunch of boxes around him, and he's just holding up a box behind him.
Okay.
We've all been there.
This happened at 8 a.m. Maybe he just had his morning coffee.
And needed his
and
daily
needed to go,
constitution.
couldn't make
possible.
it to the bathroom, and
Maybe he
just
was
found
just
a
sick.
box.
So now we have to still overpay for the food at the airport, and there might be crap in the closet. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So he's been arrested?
No, he's not facing criminal charges.
He's not?
No, not right now. He's on administrative leave while they investigate.
Well, I'll bet. Yeah, that's a problem. I'm sure. Oh, union leaders, where are you? You better come in there and protect your employee. I'm sure that'll happen next. When I worked at Channel 4 for all those years, we had someone called the Mad Crapper for a while. And after every other weekend or so, we'd find some in the hall, in the stairwell going up to the second floor.
What?
There were no cameras in there. It took them forever to figure out who did it. They eventually did.
These are the kind of conversations that HR departments don't expect to have. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot poop in boxes. I understand sometimes you have to go, but you need to find a restroom.
Wow.
Maybe he was a furry and he felt that was fine.
Maybe. He identified as a cat. It's possible. All right. Josh Hawley, yesterday we had the Attorney General on. If you listen to that interview, one of the questions Kim and I asked her was, you sent a letter to Major League Baseball regarding the scripture they had put on their hats in San Francisco. And Major League Baseball said, no, you can't do that. You can wear a hat with a gay pride emblem on it, but you can't put scripture on it. And we're just warning you. So Hawley wrote him a letter and said, you better answer me, and so did the Attorney General. To my knowledge, as of yesterday, Catherine Hanaway had not heard back from Major League Baseball, but Josh Hawley did. He got a long letter signed by Rob Manfred. I printed it off and got a copy of it here. Manfred says, we are not cracking down on Christians. This was a misunderstanding within the Giants organization that we allow the teams to hold various groups and recognize them, but if they choose to alter the uniform for that group, the players are not required to wear it. And they should have made that more clear to these Giants players, so they could have just worn their regular hat and they might not have felt the need to write the scripture on there. He said it had nothing to do with their Christian faith, and they're mad that the San Francisco Giants handled it the way that they did. So Manfred said Major League Baseball will never discriminate based on any of that, and he also went into some defense of the huge LGBTQ crowds in San Francisco and LA, and that's why the teams work with them. But so in other words, it's okay. They don't want to endorse any religion, but they will endorse a lifestyle. It sounds to me like is what Major League Baseball is saying. They said they won't do it again. And nobody got fined, was their point.
Here's an idea. I already don't support the whole Pride Night, but we know pretty much every single team in the MLB is going to do it.
A lot of them.
So, okay, fine. Have your Pride Night, but don't expect, I understand they're not being forced, but don't even make a hat that has the flag colors on it and expect players to wear it, because then this creates division among the players, and it's just awkward. It puts people in these weird positions because, sure, maybe you're not, waterboarding them and telling them you have to wear the hat, but there is certainly pressure, and they're going to get hated on if they don't. So why don't you just say, we're going to have our Pride Night, it's going to be celebrated, but don't put out the hat and don't put out the little patch or little pins, whatever you want the players to wear. Don't in any way alter the uniform.
It's bending to the knee of the politically correct, because L.A. and San Francisco, according to this letter from Rob Manfred of Major League Baseball, have been grandfathered in. No other team is supposed to be allowed to change their logo to represent a group, except the LGBTQ crowd for Pride Night in L.A. and San Francisco. They've been grandfathered in. And they claim that San Francisco did not do a good job explaining to its players that they didn't have to wear the hat.
Going back to the story about the firefighter pooping in the box, someone just texted in, he should have just gone on the sidewalk. That doesn't seem to be a problem in the city. Touche. See, if you were in a classroom and you're a furry, then that would be almost celebrated. You should be able to poop in a box if that's the way you identify.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of LGBTQ, there's some controversy going on in the Grove because Pride Fest is happening here in St. Louis this weekend. It's the 27th and the 28th, so heads up, if you're coming to the city, you will run into that. But what the mayor has done is she's essentially enforced a weekend curfew, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. for anyone 17 and younger in the Grove. That's going to run Saturday through Monday. And then she also said that the bars in the neighborhood in the Grove have agreed to close at midnight. Now, the bars tell a much different story and say that is not at all. There was no really conversation with the city, that it was kind of announced, and that they didn't even hear about it until 2 weeks before it went
the bars
public,
have to close at midnight?
The bars have to close at midnight.
Oh, that's not going to be popular.
It is not going over well. So last year they were asked to close at 1:30. People already didn't like that. Now they've shifted it to midnight. There's some guy named Jordan Braxton. He's the chair of the St. Louis LGBTQ Plus Advisory Board, and he said that this takes an emotional toll. It says, this is our opportunity to celebrate who we are. All of a sudden we're being told, no, you have to close your bar at midnight. You have to be off the street. It's like pushing us back into the closet.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, you've
That's
got to
a
be
little
kidding me.
too far
Something tells me nothing's going to stop you from celebrating. Honestly,
well, the people were shot last year. The whole reason why they did this is because they said that 2 people were shot and 6 were arrested during street fights at last year's celebrations.
And they have to hire private security
20
for Pride
plus
Night now
for one bar
because of the violence. And it's not violence from outside of their community. It's from within their community, according to police sources that I know. There you have it. All right, coming up, we'll talk to John Lamping, former Missouri senator, about a couple of these issues that have popped up now and the ads that are running on Amendments 4 and 5. We'll be back.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
All right, Victory Men's Health. I tell you what, we're going to get somebody from Victory to join us coming up here, I believe, around the 1st of July to talk more about Men's Health Month and the importance of you taking and being proactive in that. And it's true, guys. We tend to put it off. Let's just face it. You put off the physical. You put off the doctor's visits. You go to work. You work through it. You don't have to. You don't have to suffer in silence, so to speak. If you don't know what you don't know, when you go to Victory, what they do is they kind of wrap their arms around you and say, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at your blood panel, figure out what's missing out of your body. If you've got lower testosterone, if you're not eating right, you may need some vitamin supplements. It's possible. It's just sort of a holistic approach to men's health that my guess is you're not getting from a general practice physician. Reach out to them. Go visit them in O'Fallon, Missouri, O'Fallon, Illinois, Town and Country, or Sunset Hills. It's victorymenshealth.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look pretty good on the roads right now, but southbound 61, there is some volume headed down toward the 64 and 70 split. Just some moderate volume. And that's what's appearing. Moderate volume northbound 55 as you head toward 270. And, of course, that is mainly in the right lanes. Let's see. Further to the south, though, it looks fine. Now, northbound 270 starting to slow, approaching Manchester. On the Illinois side, we've got westbound 64, an accident reported as you approach 157, and that has created a jam there. And road work causing delays on northbound 255, and that's headed for Horseshoe Lake Road. We are fine, though, on the bridges downtown. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. We would like to congratulate Barron Mirror Glass and Door on their 50-year anniversary. You don't stay in business that long by not supplying quality products with outstanding service. The key is their experienced staff. Contact Barron Mirror Glass and Door today and let them show you why 50 years is just a start. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Chesterfield Fence and Deck out there working hard. I'm sure today, man, they must be loving this great weather. They're getting their crews out and they're improving backyards all over the greater St. Louis area. If you're in the sound of my voice, you need to check out what they can do for you at Chesterfield Fence. It's easy at chesterfieldfence.com. If you're in the Chesterfield Valley for some reason, their showroom is right there across from the outlet malls down there off 109. Just stop in and look. You can walk and look at the beautiful sunrooms and the pergolas and the decking material, this Vecca deck material that, is basically maintenance free. If you've ever had to, stain a deck and all that stuff, it takes a while. But if you get this Vecca deck when you have the deck built or the boards replaced, wow, what a difference that can make. And it comes in a bunch of gorgeous colors. You can pick what you want. They've been doing this for a long time, since 1968. Same family, highly rated with the Better Business Bureau. All the Google reviews that come in, it's a sign you have the very best if you're working with Chesterfield Fence. Tell them right now that you heard Marc Cox bragging about them. They're not only going to give you free project design, they're going to give you 20% off the bottom line of your next project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Online at chesterfieldfence.com.
I'm Bill Hemmer, and these are the most impactful moments in American history. Thanks to technological breakthroughs, improvements in transportation, and a booming labor force, America saw significant economic growth in the late 19th century. But with many new and changing sectors, the stock market was a beast that was incredibly difficult to follow. But all that changed in 1896, when a journalist by the name of Charles Dow published the very first Dow Jones Industrial Average. The index followed 12 industries, including cotton, tobacco, gas, and sugar. Now it wasn't just bankers who had access to this previously exclusive information. With the birth of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, ordinary people and investors had a way to follow the highs and lows of the U.S. stock market, as well as the temperature of the country's economy.
America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Termites cause $5 billion in damage to homes and businesses in the U.S. every year. Call Point Pest Control now at 636-798-0023 and reclaim your space from unwanted pests. That's 636-798-0023. PointPestControl.com.
250 years of capitalism, private ownership, and rugged individualism. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
I am Alexis McGill Johnson, and I'm the president and CEO of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. And today, the Action Fund is proud to announce the endorsement of Graham Plattner to the U.S. Senate. This endorsement comes as we approach the 4-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. People keep looking to government for the answer, and government's the problem. Government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks. We'd never miss them.
Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want?
All right, glad to have former Senator John Lamping on the line this morning, and I played that for you, John, because not only does it represent the voice of evil, Planned Parenthood, the organization that got started to push eugenics in this country by limiting the birth of black people, is now endorsing a Nazi up in Maine in this race. So there's nothing surprising about that. But it was Planned Parenthood that pushed Amendment 3 into the Missouri Constitution. And there was a major court ruling this week that said Missouri can't do anything to worry about the safety and the health of the women that are walking into that place.
Yeah, prior to the Dobbs decision, the 10 or 15 years before abortion became illegal in Missouri, what the legislature would do every year is they would add protections for women. They would create requirements for abortion centers, things like that. And Missouri's now become easily the most abortion-friendly state in the country, and I don't think that reflects the general wishes, desires, and values of Missourians. And hopefully in November, when Amendment 3 is back on the ballot, we have an opportunity to reset the whole abortion conversation and law here in Missouri.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked to Attorney General Catherine Hanaway about this yesterday, and I mean, one of them was so common sense that, hey, if you're a doctor performing an abortion, you're a medical professional, you should have privileges at the local emergency room so that if something goes wrong, you can continue your treatment of the patient at the local hospital. And Planned Parenthood hated that in part because it's hard to find medical doctors evil enough to perform abortions, but that said, they're often not at the top of their profession, and many of them don't have privileges at local hospitals. So the court's thrown out that requirement. So anybody can provide your abortion.
Yeah, I mean, common sense has nothing to do with the perspective of Planned Parenthood. You referenced earlier the eugenics movement, which people should really spend a little bit of time researching the eugenics movement. It was so mainstream in the 20s and 30s. There were classes at Yale and Harvard on eugenics. And if not for Hitler and Nazism and what went on in World War II, who knows where that movement would be today and understood. Now, what a eugenics movement did is it went underground and became Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
And their sole purpose is to minimize the lower class or those types of people who they think shouldn't exist. And so killing low-income babies is their number one target. And it's a sad statement on the society today that it's so prevalent so many states in our country.
So that will be the big issue for the November election, of course, being Amendment 3, but then we have Amendment 4 and Amendment 5 that will be on the ballot in August. And it's crazy. Mark was telling me how early voting starts this week. And there's already an ad out that's airing on our station that's very, very misleading. And you just have to wonder how effective those are going to be at trying to trick some of these, even conservatives, into thinking you should vote no on these.
Yeah, no, we're 6 weeks from today is when the election occurs and the votes are counted here in Missouri, gratefully in the same, in one day.
Right.
But no, I'm a huge proponent of both 4 and 5. One is to get rid of these high cost, out of town funded ballot initiatives. And 5, of course, is to eliminate the income tax, which of all the things we could possibly do to grow our economy in the next century would be to eliminate the income tax. But we have an electorate that is as hard as, stations like 97.1 and other groups try to educate the electorate. The electorate their lives are so busy. We talked before about, government is the problem. Well, government is so intertwined in the citizens' lives today that there's 96 different ways which we're taxed. Our federal and state taxes are taken out before we even get paid, and so it just seems so complex and so difficult that most people choose to turn politics off and just try to get to work and get their kids to school each day. And both the Amendment 4 and Amendment 5, they're serious, kind of complicated things to consider, and what opponents have done is they recognize the fact that the public doesn't really take that much time, and they're just they're lying, they're creating hot button issues and giving you a sense that to vote no is the right way to go. And that's why most ballot initiatives end up no, because if you don't understand what you're asked to vote for, you vote no. Or you don't vote at all. Yeah,
it's a good point. John Lamping, our guest this morning. John, I have been blown away by the number of people that I know have been longtime activists and members of the conservative movement who are putting up Facebook posts claiming they would in addition to not wanting to vote for Amendment 3, which dumbfounds me how you couldn't be in support of fewer abortions regardless of how we get there. They're purists who claim it's not good enough, even though it would still limit abortion. They've decided they won't vote for Amendment 5 because those tricky politicians may be trying to tax them more, and they won't vote for Amendment 4 because, well, the same restrictions should apply to legislators, seems to be their argument here. And I'm like, that's dumb. You elect your legislators. You elect them every 2 years. You go to the ballot box and you make a decision to elect these folks. These are two very different issues. This is our chance to finally make it harder to amend the Missouri Constitution. And we have conservatives who are railing against these two issues on their social media.
Yeah, so I think what all that opposition has in common is those are groups of people that do actually take the time and they focus and concentrate on what's going on in Jefferson City, and have had intimate interworkings with Jefferson City. And I will tell you, for a conservative thinking person, it is a miserable hellhole. That the vast majority of Republicans in office in Jefferson City are anything but conservative. And so these activist groups that you referenced that are opposed to 3, 4, and 5, the problem I think that they perceive, especially with 4 and with 5, is that you have to place a certain amount of trust in the legislature, right? So you're saying, hey, on 5, you guys will figure out how you're going to lower the tax and offset the income tax going away with revenue, with other taxes. Or in 4, what 4 does is allows the legislature to put things on the ballot at a different criteria than if the people do it. So what those groups have done, unfortunately, is they've gotten themselves so close and so intertwined. They have such disdain for the legislative bodies that they've chose to come out against these amendments, and that's fine. That's their right. They just need to step back. I understand their frustration. It is a miserable. I can't emphasize enough to your listeners just how miserable a place Jefferson City is, how corrupt it is, and but at the end of the day, you kind of get the government you deserve when you don't pay attention and you don't focus. Then you don't expect to have a pristine, moral, and upright and just government. And that's the frustration. So I'm sympathetic to their plight, but nonetheless, the status quo is far worse than if Amendment 4 or 5 were to pass. And certainly, the status quo for abortion is, we are the top state for abortion in the country, and Amendment 3 will get us to where 98% of all abortions in Missouri will become illegal. So I don't understand that you're holding out for that last 1%. Because guess what? I'll just say to them, what's going to happen is if Amendment 3 passes, well, we're not going to forget that last 1% as a state, and we're going to go after that last 1%. So They need to vote yes on 3 in November. But anyway, so hopefully, the influence that those people have aren't the decisive, the difference in the decision. But I would say that I understand what you're saying, but still, you got to vote for these amendments.
Amen. Well explained, my friend. Great having you on as always. Thank you.
Enjoy your week. Take care. Bye.
You bet. Yep, John Lamping there, who explained that very well. Please look to my conservative friends who are against this. Look at the 30,000-foot view. Mm-hmm. You may not trust the Missouri legislature. You have a chance to end the income tax in the state of Missouri. That's a $3,000 to $5,000 boost in your income next year. You want to raise? This is one way to do it. You decide what services and goods you buy, and there are guardrails built into that law.
Well, and people are trying to argue that the sales tax will be what, like 20%,
but
something astronomical.
That's fake.
Take Tennessee and Florida as two perfect examples of states that have done this, eliminated the state income tax. They've increased their sales tax. And if you look at this, it says that the average combined state and local sales tax for Tennessee is about 9.55%. Florida, even lower. The combined rate is on average about 7.02%. Not 20%, not 15%, below 10%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I hope people take a hard look at it, and then on Amendment 4 as well. We'll talk more about it. The voter guide is coming out. I just hope people will step back and consider you have a chance to fix initiative petition reform so evil people like Planned Parenthood can't run roughshod over the Missouri Constitution anymore. This is your chance to do it. You may not get another one anytime soon. So we're going to have the people on from Protect Missouri Voters who are pro Amendment 4 on Thursday to talk more about this. We'll get to in other news coming up. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a jam on the Illinois side. If you are a westbound 64 driver, there is an accident before 157 that's causing a massive delay back to 159, and eastbound drivers are slowing for a look. That's the worst of it. Now, northbound 255 is slowing, headed for Horseshoe Lake Road. We've got road work there. We are fine on the bridges downtown, but eastbound 270 a little slow on the Chain of Rocks Bridge due to road work this morning. Now, eastbound 70, fine. Forestell into downtown. Southbound 61 a little slow at 64, which is just a little bit of moderate volume there. And then things open up. We've got southbound 270 with moderate volume at Ladue Road and some slow pockets northbound, anywhere from 55 up through Manchester. And then things improve and look better. This report brought to you by i3 Broadband. With the kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. So switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service is waiting for your phone call now. I mean, on a beautiful day like today, hey, before it gets to be 100 degrees outside with high humidity, why don't you go ahead and call Corey Malone and the folks at Air Comfort. Let them get over there and check out your air conditioner. Make sure it's ready to go, right? Make sure you're charged up. Make sure your coil is clean. Make sure the vents are clean on the outside of your air conditioning unit. You know, I was warned the other day that can be another part of hail damage to your house. The hailstones can bend the blades. They can bend the soft inner workings of your air conditioning unit on the outside of your house. If most people focus on their roof, but that's something you may need to get checked. When Air Comfort Service comes over, that is one of the things they'll look for to make sure that shell is intact and nothing's gotten in there to make it your system's job harder than it should be. And then when the 100-degree weather gets here, you're going to be cool and comfortable. All you have to do is call this number, 314-513-0091. Air Comfort Service installed my current system. It works great. I love it. It's cold in my house, which makes me very happy. 314-513-0091. Tell them Mark sent you. You can also go online and schedule service at aircomfortservice.com.
We're here to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. This is 97.1 FM Talk. America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
If you've been thinking about refinancing, don't let the cost of an appraisal hold you back. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. For a limited time, Golden Oak is offering a credit of up to $600 towards your appraisal at closing. Call today for a free mortgage checkup and see if you could lower your payment, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or put your home's equity to work. But apply by July 31st.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales, and voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Taxation.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
Save time and money.
Do it now, don't wait till later. Call the top-notch renovator. It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
It's just now come out that the second ransom note a TV station in Arizona had received about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance says that she is dead. Says that the kidnappers did not mean to kill her, but that she died shortly after the kidnapping and that she's now buried with nature.
Wow. Now, I suspected all along that's what happened, that they grabbed her and then she had a heart attack or something and died and they didn't know what to do. And they offered in the ransom note, according to this story, to return the body if they would give them Bitcoin, correct?
I don't know about that. I know they were initially asking for Bitcoin. They were seeking approximately $100,000. Let's see here. So TMZ, remember, they kept getting emails. Correct. And they were talking about every single one they got. And then they were getting so many that they just decided, we're not going to keep publishing this because we don't even know if they're legitimate.
Wow.
So.
That's sad.
Yeah.
A local Iowa news anchor has made a little bit of headlines here. His name is Dustin Nolan. And he announced on the job, apparently the station knew he was going to do this. Often they'll try to take you off the air if you're leaving on your own before you can leave out of fear that you'll say something you shouldn't. And he's stepping away from the news industry. He got very emotional yesterday when he made this announcement. Let me play a little bit clip of this
I
here.
hope every one of you that's allowed me to be a part of your mornings know just how important that I have taken this job. How much it means to me that you've trusted me these past few years to bring you the news in the morning. I promise you I've given you everything I have. I've never tried to be perfect or what many think a newsman is supposed to be, but I have always done my best to be transparent, bring you the facts, and I've always been myself.
So he went on to say that basically he's stepping away because they filter too much news at the local level and they treat the public like babies and they don't tell them the truth.
Do you think that he's conservative or he's
I don't know.
liberal and he's saying that he's that could go either way.
I have a hard time believing they would have let him get away with that if he was criticizing them for that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, And by the way, I think his co-anchor might have been his wife. Maybe
because
that
they were
was
holding
why
hands
he got
on
emotional.
the set.
Well, most anchors do hold hands, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I got really long arms.
I know, Mark and Kim are right now.
Yeah, we always do. Okay, so 2 unlikely drivers were charged with street racing. This one guy was going 110 miles per hour. Guess how old he was?
25.
85 years old. He reminds me of, and I had to Google this, Flash. The sloth from Zootopia.
Yeah, who loved to go fast.
To go fast. Yeah. But he was charged with street racing. He was racing some 57-year-old.
Might as
well.
What
kind of car was he driving? Can you tell me?
The 57-year-old was in a Corvette, and he tried to claim that wasn't even capable of reaching speeds that high.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't say what the other guy was driving.
Oh, I'd love to know. Probably a couple of classic car buffs. All right, we'll be back with Todd Piro. Stay tuned.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Nuclear honesty. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump insists the U.S. deal with Iran demands. Posting on Truth Social, Iran's agreed to high-level nuclear inspections long into the future, which Iran disputes. The day after the president warned he'll do what he has to do.
If Iran doesn't live up to their agreement, or if they're not behaving.
The president's post also maintains funds for the U.S. that is released for Iran will be controlled by the U.S. and used by Iran to buy food and medical supplies exclusively from the U.S., though Iran also disputes that today. The foreign ministry insists they'll decide how to spend any funds the U.S. unfreezes. And Fox's Trey Yingst reports.
President Trump just moments ago posted to Truth Social saying 19 million barrels of oil flowed out of the Hormuz Strait yesterday. He goes on to say an all-time record. Oil prices are tumbling down and the world is a much safer place.
And oil, meanwhile, is slightly higher today, but WTI is only about $10 a barrel higher than before the Iran conflict sent oil and gas prices surging. It's up to 7 people in custody now, and the plot the FBI thwarted to attack the UFC event on the White House lawn earlier this month.
2 more men have been arrested by the FBI, this time in Missouri and Washington State. Prosecutors allege the plot called for explosive-laden drones to strike near the White House before sniper teams opened fire on attendees.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the White House. It's primary day in Maryland, Utah, and New York, where this is a big question.
So just how influential is New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani? We're about to find out. Multiple Mamdani-backed candidates are hoping to bring their agenda to Congress, including fellow Democratic Socialists Daria Liza Avila Chevalier and Claire Valdez.
That's Fox's Doug Luzader. There are also runoffs in South Carolina. President Trump likes the Republicans running for governor so much he endorses both. A big trade in the NBA ahead of the draft tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks sending star Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat for players and draft picks. America's listening to Fox News.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No thanks.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. A nice start, but chilly. Sunny, 59 degrees here downtown at the Arch. It is 7:03. Here's what's making headlines on Tuesday, June 23rd. A St. Louis City firefighter is on administrative leave after he was caught on video. I've been saying defecating, but let's just say what it is, pooping in a box at Lambert Airport. The incident happened back on June 10th. He was seen on surveillance camera with his, pants down, holding the box behind him. No clue why he did this. His name has not been released because he's not been criminally charged, though we do know he's been with the department since 1995. Lambert says firefighters are on site 24/7 to provide fire protection at the airport. A warning from St. Louis police after a man was shot when he confronted a group of teenagers shooting off fireworks. Fireworks are illegal to shoot off in the city, though people clearly don't care. Police say they will respond to calls about illegal fireworks, though understandably, it is a low priority. They also say parents could be cited for their kids shooting them off. By the way, the man who confronted the teens and was shot is thankfully expected to be okay. Senator Josh Hawley says Major League Baseball has assured him the San Francisco Giants players who wrote scripture on their hats during Pride Night will not be punished. Hawley shared the letter on X saying that the MLB commissioner admits they were wrong to threaten the Giants players over Bible verses and promises to never fine or discipline these players or any players for their religious beliefs. All right, in sports, Cardinals beat the Diamondbacks yesterday 3-2 the final. Game 2 tonight at Busch Stadium. First pitch is 6:45. And did you hear Blues icon Keith Tkachuk being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame? Tkachuk spent 9 of his 18 seasons in the NHL right here in St. Louis with the Blues. You might remember he was already inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. That was back in 2024. This induction ceremony will happen on November 9th in Toronto. 59 degrees now, 7:05. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident northbound 270 past Gravois. They've got the 2 left lanes blocked. And a stall reported eastbound 6440, a little bit past 270. So we've got some issues there. And, of course, the northbound 270 accident already causing a delay back past 21. Now, the biggest jam we have this morning is on the Illinois side. There was an accident on westbound 64 before 157, just past Buncombe Road, if that helps. And this has caused a massive delay back past 159. Eastbound traffic is slowing for a look back to 157. And other than that, well, there is some volume on westbound 5570 and eastbound, kind of on either side of 111, and northbound 255 north of 5570. Other than that, we're okay. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Let's enjoy some beautiful summer weather on this Tuesday across St. Louis. Plenty of sunshine and nice. 81 for the high later on today. Tonight, a few clouds around, but all is dry. 64 Wednesday and Thursday. Partly sunny skies. Couple of thunder showers around. Showers here and there, but very limited both days. And both days in the mid-80s. An increase in rain and some thunderstorms Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All right, just looked. It's actually 61 degrees. We've gone up 2 degrees since 5 a.m. There you go. All right, 7:07 is our time right now. As always, you can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show anytime or from anywhere right there on our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you, and welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show. It's Tuesday morning. We're glad you're with us. We're glad to be back in studio this morning, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast yesterday from out at Whitmore. We had the Attorney General on. We had Rocky Sickman on, former Iran hostage. If you missed that, he plays a big role in Folds of Honor these days. And he was nice enough to give us his thoughts on what's going on in this deal with Iran, which, of course, the president and the vice president are taking a lot of grief about right now. He's like, listen, we know who the Iranians are. We know who they've been for 47 years. Nobody's dealt with them in the way this president has. And, I thought it was some insight from somebody who was tortured by some of the members of the crazy Iranian regime. Now, I think a lot of those people are now dead. But there were people still around at the beginning of this war who were there when Rocky was being held hostage all those years ago. And Kim and I had a chance to talk to him yesterday, so that was pretty insightful. You can find all that on the podcast, which you can download wherever you get your podcasts, whatever you do on a daily basis, Spotify, Apple, 97.1 FM Talk. You can go to our website. You can go to the Odyssey app, whatever it takes. Yeah,
I thought he had some really good insight and also new details I did not know about what he endured while he was held hostage by Iran for 444 days. It's worth listening to.
It is worth a listen. We're also on social media on Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and all that stuff for you and X this morning. So we appreciate those of you who are tuning in on the Window World webcam. Simply the best for less. You know, I noticed this earlier. I mentioned it, but I didn't get around to reading you the actual details of it. Governor Pritzker over in Illinois there across the river is going to sign into law today a new social media law, the Children's Online Safety Act. Kim, have you paid any attention to this at all?
That sounds familiar.
Illinois may now face one less potential hurdle enacting a law requiring social media and other online platforms to verify the age of users and to restrict harmful content to minors.
Okay, here's my question. In theory, that sounds great. And I know the UK just banned, what was it? Anyone under 16 can't be on social media anymore. I think this is ultimately maybe a good thing in the sense that there's nothing good that comes out of kids being on social media. Study after study has shown that. But how did these social media companies do that? Because I remember when Facebook first came out, I was in high school. I want to say I was maybe a junior or something like that. But anyway, you had to be in college or older to have a Facebook account. So you had to have a college email. Well, what did all of us in high school do? We just I don't know if we just made up emails or we used somebody else's. I mean, there were ways around it. So I guess all that to say, there are so many ways around this. It's really going to be up to the parents to monitor their kids' online activity and make sure that their kids aren't doing something that they're not supposed to be doing.
My question for Governor Pritzker is, what about all the poor black kids that can't get an ID?
That's true. It's discriminatory, really.
It's racially discriminatory because how can they prove how old they are or who they are?
Isn't that funny how you won't hear the left arguing that point when it comes to something like this? But that's the number one issue you hear when it comes to voting, is that they don't have equal access to a government-issued photo ID.
Well, again, the social media companies have sued about this. They've tied a lot of these up in court, but apparently a similar law in Ohio was allowed to move forward last week after having been held up by a federal court's injunction for more than 2 years. Net Choice had sued, and they sued on the grounds that it was unconstitutional. And apparently the court case is still moving ahead, but Pritzker's going to sign it anyway. He plans to keep moving forward. He's concerned about protecting people's freedom of speech.
What does that mean, though, for the rest of us when it comes to social media? Will we then, in order to keep our accounts, I know this relates to Illinois, but let's just say this was a federal thing that happened here in the country. Would we have to post a picture of our ID Because I've actually been asked to do that already on Facebook when I tried to sign in from a different account, and I didn't want to do it.
It's a good question. According to this, instead of placing the requirements solely on the provider, a device manufacturer or operating system developer would instead be required to verify a user's age as the device is being set up and provide a more simple age range of the user to a platform. So, again, it doesn't directly answer your question. I don't know if my kid tells you he's 15 but he's really 12, how do you prove that?
Right.
That would require a lot more parental involvement, which clearly there isn't a lot these days to begin with, or maybe they wouldn't be involved in as many of those things. Just be honest about it. How many of you know exactly all of the apps your kids are involved in and what they're doing on there? My guess is most parents don't. They may have a general idea. Yeah, they're on Instagram, they're on whatever, TikTok. But do you really know what's going on there? Because most of them don't use it. A lot of them don't. So, I don't know. I think it's worth looking at for sure. All right, coming up, we're going to get to Todd Piro, host of Fox & Friends first. We'll get to Mark Walters. We'll talk about that Supreme Court decision regarding guns and marijuana use. And, of course, we got Ryan Wiggins coming up in the next hour. But right now, I want to get to a few of our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
The IAEA inspectors can come, but they can accompany United States military and civilian nuclear experts who will do the inspecting along with the IAEA, who has practical experience there. We have to drive it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. General Jack Keane yesterday commenting on the inspections that would be required in order for Iran to get some sanctions relief. A lot of people are critical of this, but remember what the goal has been here is to get rid of their enriched uranium and for them not to enrich any more of it.
He says that the subpoenas that went to all of these officials are blatantly and overwhelmingly unlawful, that what they were doing were trying to harass and coerce the officials on the ground there to fall in line with the administration.
Yeah, somehow another federal judge has tried to put it back on the Trump administration that these Minnesota state officials have been flouting the law. They've been flaunting it. They've let this fraud go on right under their nose. But when the federal government went to subpoena them for the records, a judge has decided that it's punitive on the part of the Trump administration instead of worrying about the billions of taxpayer dollars that have been wasted in Minnesota. It's absolutely disgusting.
Why we're seeing these Democratic socialists having such good chances or outright winning nominations is take a look here. Net favorability among Dems. Democratic Socialists of America, look at that. A plus 17-point net favorability rate. That is better than how congressional Democrats are viewed by Democrats at just plus 4 points.
Wow, Harry Enton there going on and on about how well the socialists are doing among Democrats these days. Anybody surprised? I'm not, that's for sure, but I was surprised when Ethan pointed at me right then. Here we go.
Anybody who studied any small bit of history knows that electoral college is rooted in slavery. That was the entire reason that it was invented, essentially, and we should have gotten from up under it a long time ago.
Jamel Hill, remember her from ESPN? She's a hard lefty. She was when she worked there. They finally got rid of her. She claimed it was because of racism, and now she's on CNN and MSDNC, sometimes spewing her nonsense. Maybe it's CNN. I don't know. But she was on a panel yesterday claiming that they want to get rid of the Electoral College. And, I mean, they had to be schooled a little bit on this by reminding them of exactly why the Electoral College was put in place in the first place, to make sure that all states had a say in who the president of the United States was. It's not unlike the people in Missouri right now who don't want initiative petition reform, because it would give rural voters an equal voice in whether or not something's added to the Constitution. Right now, they can just power it through by getting some overwhelming turnout in 3 big cities in Missouri. They can pass anything they want. They get enough blue vote, they pass anything they want. They don't want to have to pay attention to the red vote. That's why they want to get rid of the Electoral College. That's what you have to remember. Caroline Downey reminded them of this yesterday. Listen.
This is a constitutional bulwark against majoritarianism. Every single safeguard in our constitutional framework prevents majoritarianism. Everything. Federalism. The fact that the Senate has 2 senators that are equal no matter what state you're in. The fact that the House is proportionate based on population. The fact that, everything is divided between the federal government and the states. This is just an extension of that. And you know why the Electoral College really works? Is because it forces both political parties to try to court moderate voters in swing states. Of course, progressive candidates would rather just spend all their time on the campaign trail in California. They would rather not go to Pennsylvania. But it forces them to understand the concerns and interests of other states.
Well, you need to learn some history.
Listen, he just tries to talk over her. She's telling the truth. It's just like initiative petition reform. It should require some buy-in by the other side. Majoritarianism is what she called it there, and that's what it's designed to prevent. It's what we need to protect the Missouri Constitution as well, is something similar to the Electoral College. That's all. You got to win a little bit of support in all of the areas, or you can't just concentrate on the big populated cities. This is common sense. All right, I went a little long here. Let's get to a break. We're hoping to get Todd Piro. He's going to make an appearance on Fox in just a minute, and then he's going to call us. So we'll get to a break, and we'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews are working with an accident northbound 270 south of 44. The 2 left lanes are blocked, and we've got a parking lot jam back through 55. Now, the other serious jam was on the Illinois side this morning. There's an accident. There was road work. And this is westbound 64 approaching 157. Right now, the solid jam is from 159 on back, but still slowing in both directions east of there. Now, on the Missouri side, some volume eastbound 270 headed for the Chain of Rocks Bridge, and 6440 a little bit busy in both directions at Big Bend. Out west, we look okay on 64, but 70 is a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. This report brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
Hey, let's talk Zero Res for just a minute because it's time to get the house clean. And if that describes you, you need to call Zero Res. They've got big summer savings right now, starting at $129, 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. And then, of course, you can get $100 off if you want to go ahead and get your air ducts cleaned. That means the whole house, the lungs of your house get cleaned as well. And Zero Res does it like nobody else. They're not one of these companies coming in and, steam cleaning your carpeting that leaves it wet for a couple of days. That just traps more dirt. Your carpet's kind of the air filter for your house when you think of it that way. You need it to be clean. You need it not to have harsh chemicals or residue left on it. And that's what you get from my friends with Zero Res. All you have to do is call them, and they will get out there and take care of you. 314-474-2020. Call today. Tell me what the 97.1 special. You heard Marc Cox talking about it. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. It's Zero Res. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
Every child deserves the chance to learn, grow, and dream.
But for many students, barriers like hunger, lack of resources, and limited opportunities can stand in the way. The Little Bit Foundation helps to break down barriers to learning for under-resourced students through programs and partnerships that support the whole child. From basic needs and health services to educational enrichment and career exploration, it helps students thrive in school and beyond. Visit thelittlebitfoundation.org to find out how you can support their mission. This message brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
Today,
The Cards, the D-backs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The time now is 7:23, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. We've got Todd Piro waiting in the wings, so let's get to him.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Todd.
Smartest man alive! I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to life than being really, really good looking.
He's all right, I suppose, if you like dark, handsome, rich-looking men with passionate natures and too many teeth.
Well, he's young and he's handsome. He's a real gentleman. You know, not one of these grabbers.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Piro on the line with his brand new intro there. Todd, how are you?
I am well. And what I won't do for the fine folks there at the Marc Cox Morning Show. Did you see I literally just stepped off of air 2 seconds ago? I have now slunk. I've never used that word before. Slunk into a makeup room that I'm assuming is not being used because there's nobody here. And, you know, it's like a circus out here. We had one of those clown cars. We had the FIFA guy, then we had the PGA Tour winner. We have Rush Limbaugh's wife. And in between, I'm trying to do a story on Nancy Guthrie. We got all the media people here for the FIFA guy because the FIFA, as you know, is only on Fox.
Oh, nice.
It's insanity going on here. So there's no room for Toddy Boy to do his hit.
I'm sure Kilmeade probably took his time doing that too because he's such a he's a big soccer guy.
He wasn't rushing that in a minute.
No,
that was like, we got Pyro's got to call Marc Cox. I'm going to take even longer.
Thank you.
That Nancy Guthrie story is crazy. The ransom note that says that, I mean, I guess we're not surprised, but that says she's buried with nature and that she accidentally died in the process of kidnapping her.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my job to do this commentary, but I'll do it with you. Don't you find the language that has been used implies something beyond a non-native speaker? There's something odd about like buried in nature. Who the hell talks like that?
Oh, that's a good point.
I shouldn't have said.
Well, what if it's AI? What if they just plugged it into ChatGPT because they can't even form a sentence?
Maybe they're not English speaker. I mean, also a good point. They're buried in Mexico, so you have to, assume there is some Mexican connection. Although, you can get into Mexico pretty easily because you can get, or you used to be able to get the other way pretty easily too. Just a sad story. And, the reason we did it just now is because Savannah Guthrie came out on the Today Show and gave an emotional reaction, just like, any human would if it's their mom. So just a horrible story.
What did she say, Todd? I mean, I didn't hear her reaction to this yet. Did she acknowledge that they knew that her mom was probably gone?
In the soundbite, she basically just begs for information so they can have some semblance of closure. And she made the point, like, look, obviously, I haven't, she didn't use these words, but she's been walled off the story for obvious journalistic reasons. Mm-hmm. She cannot cover this story. But they came out to like a 7-shot or a 6-shot, however many people are on that set there. And she just kind of had an emotional reaction, which, we all would under the circumstances. And, basically it was just like, we need information, we need closure, we got to get there. And, but obviously very emotionally with a lot of tears. So, look, I know everybody's like, why do you keep covering this? Yeah, I'm sure there's part of it is the fact that she is, in our business, and I can't deny that fact. But, it's also, think about this if this were your mom, and, you would want the world covering it. I understand we don't cover every missing 85-year-old, but, we're covering this one, and that's that.
But it was also weird circumstances where she was taken from her home, and it's not just a typical like, oh, this person's missing.
Right. And, there is the fact that this is the mother of a famous person. I mean, the Limbaugh baby wasn't, different than any other baby, except that it was
Charles Lindbergh's,
Lindbergh, sorry, Limbaugh, sorry, wrong name. The Lindbergh baby. I got my Limbaughs and my Lindberghs confused. I need to send your fellow state resident David Limbaugh an email today. And so I'm confused here. But you know what I mean? Like, it was the fact that there was a relative of a famous person.
Yeah,
I got it. All right. Well, my friend, we're out of time. We appreciate you rushing through your hit there to get to us, so thank you.
People helping people, my friend.
We'll talk soon, Todd. Take care. Yep, Todd Piro there, just in a makeup room somewhere off the set of Fox. There you have it. Coming up, Mark Walters with more on that Supreme Court decision regarding pot and guns.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Had a great chance to sit down last week with my friend Chad Hansen of Hansen's Tree Service. We like to go over there and honor the memory of his father. Once a year, we take him food, and we feed the crew out there, and everybody was able to come in and get a bite to eat from Bartolino's. It was delicious. So my thanks to them, and just a reminder that they are working hard for you. He has got arborists out there every day looking at some of the things affecting evergreens right now. There are some blights out there that you need to be aware of, and you need to get them treated or you're going to lose those trees. If you fear you might have that problem, here's the phone number, 636-379-1830. Chad will get somebody out there to take care of it, to look at it, and then give you a bid on taking care of it if it has to be removed, or maybe it can be treated. Hopefully that's the case for you anyway. They'll do it. No tree too big or too small for Hansen's Tree Service. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go online today to hansenstree.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews continue to work with an accident on northbound 270 south of 44. Now, they have moved it from the left lanes off to the right side, but the damage is done. So we've got a jam that goes back through 55 at this hour. Also a slow go is 6440. Now, this is in both directions at the inner belt. So that's just normal volume. Southbound 270, some moderate volume at Ladue Road. We've got 70 eastbound, an accident reported really close to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, maybe just past there, and that's created a delay in that area. But 64 isn't bad out west, just a little bit slow at Timberlake Manor and then approaching 170. Now, up north, We've got road work going on near the Chain of Rocks Bridge, and eastbound 270 is a slow go through there. It's been a mess on the Illinois side this morning on 64. There was an accident approaching 157 that has left us with a jam that goes back past 159. So if you're in that area, that's what's going on. Eastbound a little slow as well. And some volume on 5570 just east of 203 due to road work, and some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report brought to you by McKelvey Homes on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Hey, let's talk about selling your home for a minute. If you're in the sound of my voice, the thoughts crossed your mind, maybe this is the summer, you need to reach out to my friend Gloria Loop. Yeah, I know. You probably know a realtor, but you don't know my realtor, 314-325-6888. She helped us sell our house about a year and a half ago, and what a great experience. That's why I'm telling you about it. She has got systems in place that are going to help you get your home sold. You won't have to worry about having a second mortgage. She'll buy your house if she can't sell it. This is one of her promises she will make to you in writing. You two work out the details. You arrive at a price. If she can't sell it, she'll buy it herself. If she can't sell it for 100% of market value, she'll pay you whatever the difference would be. Where else are you hearing things like that? And you're under no obligation when you call Gloria. Just call her office and have a conversation with her about how this works. I mean, she's been in the business over 20 years. She's seen it all. 314-325-6888. Or go online. Tell her Marc Cox sent you. It's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. When you're seriously injured in a car accident, insurance adjusters are not on your side. They're known as insurance adjusters because they're always adjusting the settlement offers lower and lower. At Kaufman Townsley, we'll get your settlement higher and higher, the maximum money you deserve. How? Because we fight. No one deserves to be victimized twice by the negligent driver and the insurance company. Call Kaufman Townsley at 314-777-7777.
2026 is a big year for America, and we'll be here with you, celebrating every step of the way. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk, sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
If you ban them in the future, the bullets will have been shot and there won't be any more available.
So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
Put that double-barrel shotgun and fired 2 blasts outside the house.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
All right, thrilled to have Mark Walters back with us, host of Armed American Radio and Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, spokesman for the Second Amendment Foundation. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great this morning. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, St. Louis, and hello again, Kim. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on. I've been anxious to get to talk to you about this this court decision on the guns and marijuana. One of the decisions the Supreme Court dropped last Thursday. They've got more decisions coming down today. Maybe those will be a couple of the bigger ones, but finally a Second Amendment decision here.
Yeah, that's the Hamani case. And regarding we're on Supreme Court watch this week all week because the Wolford v. Lopez case is expected to drop. That's the vampire rule where the court, we feel 100% confident it could be another 9-0 based on what we saw in Hamani if the three liberal justices use the same precedent that they mentioned in Hamani. It should be a 9-0, but it's a different case. We expect to win it. That's the vampire rule where you don't have to be invited in, but it is presumed to be lawful to carry in public anywhere. So we expect another huge victory this week in Second Amendment as well. Regarding this Hamani case and weed, this is a fascinating case, and it's a big win for not just gun owners, but for freedom itself. Because the government's response and the way they argued the case, the solicitor argued to the Supreme Court justices, was that weed laws were analogous under the Bruin test. I'll go into that in just a second to clear people up that might not know what that is. But under the Bruin test, they tried to say that habitual drunkard laws of the 17th century were analogous to today's marijuana laws, banning. Now, keep in mind, all you had to do was admit possession and you were banned for life, and that was the government's argument. Well, I'll quote the court, I'll quote Gorsuch. Those laws, the government contends, demonstrate a traditional firearm regulation consistent with its effort to disarm any regular user of a controlled substance. They fail. It is so ordered. The judgment of the Fifth Circuit is affirmed. So the bottom line here is, if you smoke weed, you cannot be deemed to be dangerous simply because you smoke pot by the government and banned for life from guns. Huge victory.
You know, I talked to Hans von Spakovsky about this yesterday, who's one of our senior legal fellows now. And the question that still is not clear to me, though, is what does it do? Does it change the question on the Form 4473 where it asks you about illegal drug use? Can you now just, if you're a regular marijuana user, can you just ignore that and lie on there about it because you don't have to admit if you are a regular user of marijuana anymore? Or will they have to change the wording on the 4473 to match what the court just decided?
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. A lot of people have already had that question. We've got it 1,000,000 times over. I wish I had $1 for every time. Here's the bottom line. The 4473 proposed changes were already being made the day the Hamani decision came down. We haven't yet seen the final version, but I want to point this out. There's some nuance. The devil's always in the details here.
Right.
The court did not say that you cannot be deemed dangerous if you're a marijuana smoker. It's not a blank check. Okay? If you're high driving down the road and waving a gun around, you're going to be deemed dangerous and you're going to be charged. You can be banned. What it said was, and again, this is the Bruin test. If the rule or the law, if the person's behavior falls under the scope of the Second Amendment, meaning he is a gun owner, it is presumed to be constitutional and lawful right off the bat. The government has to prove why it's not. That's the Bruin test. Ketanji Brown admitted and said in her concurrence, because remember, this was a 9-0 decision. Right. She said, we respect the precedent set in Bruin. Then she pulled the typical liberal anti-gunner but, right? There's no but in the Second Amendment, but she had to put that in there. But she said, that does not mean that I agree with or that the two of us on this concurrence agree with the Bruin decision. So they left it open that if we can ever change Bruin, we likely will. But because of precedent, we will honor it, which is why I say the next case coming out should be 9-0 as well. But it was a different set of circumstances, a different case altogether. But using that logic, the Bruin test just got a lot stronger. That's my opinion. Now, what I think is even more important going forward when we look at the strength of the Bruin decision here is why did the government seek cert on this case when they knew their habitual drunkard law analogy was going to fail. My personal belief is they did it intentionally so that they could avoid legislative hassles to get this question answered and eliminate the weed out of it as a substance that makes people dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do it was, let's take this case and lose it, and it becomes the law of the land. That's my personal opinion, because they had to know they weren't going to win it.
I've heard people drawing comparisons to what happened with Hunter Biden, and Hans was saying yesterday, it's just a different case.
Yeah.
You can't compare the two.
Correct. And keep in mind, in the government, in Gorsuch's opinion, in the majority, as I just mentioned, he made very clear that doesn't mean you can't be deemed dangerous. They wanted to put those guardrails up. This was this one case about Hamani, and this was the ruling that came down. So he made it very, very clear. Now, if you compare Hunter Biden, I could easily show to you, and I think experts would be able to prove in court, because this was what Hunter Biden was prosecuted under as well, is that he was, in fact, an addict and therefore dangerous. That could easily have been proven. These were two separate cases. However, it's a gigantic win for freedom all the way around. Why?
Yeah.
Not because it's about weed or guns, but because it's about the government cannot deem an entire class of people because of an action to be dangerous automatically. No, done. Beautiful win. Beautiful victory.
Good. We're talking to Mark Walters, host of Armed American Radio. There was another court decision. I found this on guns.com. It said that a unanimous three-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit ruled last week that suppressors, silencers, are protected by the Second Amendment. Exactly the opposite of a decision from the California-based Ninth Circuit. Can you explain this one to me?
Yeah, I'm digging into that one myself. The suppressor case is a little bit more complicated. However, what you just said is accurate. And again, this is the Fifth Circuit.
Yeah.
Very friendly to gun rights. The reason that case is important is because we're fighting the National Firearms Act in court right now to wipe it out completely. The only thing we're not going after at this point is machine guns, but that'll come at a later date. I ought to be able to buy one out of a vending machine as far as I'm concerned as a law-abiding citizen.
Yes.
Okay? But that's a different fight. So what we're trying to do here is set that circuit split up, which this does, and hopefully the court can grab one of these cases relative to the accessories, because the Fifth Circuit has, in fact, just found that they are protected arms as accessories under the U.S. Constitution and the Second Amendment. So these cases are fascinating, and they're fun to watch. Big ones coming out this week with the Wolford as well. We're waiting for that today, hopefully at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, no kidding. So in other words, suppressors have not been considered an accessory? Is that?
It depends on what circuit you're in.
Okay, I guess. So in California, they think they think it's an accessory.
Yeah, they don't want to. They're trying. Their argument is that it's not an arm, that it's an accessory that they can regulate.
Yes.
Et cetera.
Okay. Got
it.
That's
why. Yeah, but they say the same thing about magazines. They'd say that about anything in commie form, right? So that's why these cases have to be adjudicated at the highest level, and it's why we spend so much money and so much time fighting these battles and win our rights. And there's one more thing I want to say about this. This is the last week of the court session. This is it. And I'm wondering personally if the release of this Wolford decision between today and Thursday, hopefully it's today, and the Hamani case, now that we know what the court has said, will they finally take one of the assault weapons ban cases before this term is completely over so that we can get a decision on the liberal governments across the states banning classes of guns, which we know we're going to win as well. So this could be a 1-2-3 punch if everything falls in line.
Yeah, we got to do that before the Democrats take over and stack the Supreme Court, right?
And that's exactly what Ketanji Brown mentioned. I would recommend everybody go read the case. It's at supremecourt.gov. You just go right up to the opinions of the court and read the Hamani case and read the concurrences from the liberals. Remember, it was a 9-0 decision, but they throw those buts in there. They're telegraphing and telling you what they will do if they ever regain power, and that is wipe out Bruen. So that's why all of these decisions strengthening Bruen as precedent are so critical as we move forward.
Mark, you're the best. This is why you have to go listen to Armed American Radio, because you get great explanations of important issues like that. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, you're welcome. Good morning, St. Louis. You guys stay safe. Thanks for having me.
We sure will. We'll talk to you soon. Mark Walters, Armed American Radio, and also with the Second Amendment Foundation there, saf.org. Go check that out. Kim, what are we talking about?
Well, I would argue homeschoolers have been under attack really around the world, including right here in the United States and in Missouri, Illinois. Believe it or not, a homeschooling couple was actually jailed because of their curriculum. Coming up on the other side of the break, I'll tell you what was missing from their curriculum that a judge said deserved jail time.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we have an issue on northbound 270. It looks like they've been dealing with this accident just south of 44. They moved it from the left lanes kind of off to the right shoulder, but we still have a jam behind it. It looks like it may be even gone from the right shoulder now. But we have slow-moving traffic back through 55, and northbound slows again, headed for Manchester. Southbound is really lined up today as you head from almost Dorset down through Ladue Road. Now, eastbound 70, there was an accident just past Lake St. Louis Boulevard that's left us with a jam through there. And eastbound 364, let's call it past Highway K, there is an accident, so there's a jam there as well. 64 may be your best bet, but there's some moderate volume around Clarkson through Timberlake Manor, and then between Lindbergh and Big Bend, with westbound lining up approaching Hampton. On the Illinois side, 64 westbound is just jammed, approaching 159 through 157. It's kind of slow there in both directions. 64 slowing again at 5570 and across the Poplar Street Bridge. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. We would like to congratulate them on their 50-year anniversary. Now, you don't stay in business that long by not supplying quality products with outstanding service. The key is their experienced staff. Contact Barron Mirror Glass and Door today and let them show you why 50 years is just the start. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm guessing a lot of you picked the home you bought because you love the neighborhood, you love the school district it's in, you love the location, and maybe you also, as icing on the cake, got a really great interest rate. And you don't want to give that up. You don't like your home. It's not very functional, but you don't want to move. And I get that. You don't have to move. All you have to do is go to lakesiderd.com. Lakesiderd.com. That is the website for my friends at Lakeside Renovation and Design. This is a veteran-founded, family-owned company based out of the Chesterfield Valley. Great showroom there that you can go to check out kind of the latest trends that they see for 2026. But Lakeside Renovation and Design can help you reimagine the home you're in to make it more functional, more relaxing. You could have a spa-like bathroom, feels like you're in a 5-star hotel with heated floors or one of those steam showers, really anything you're dreaming up inside or outside of your home. Lakeside Renovation and Design can do that. Could be a situation where you don't have enough storage space, poor lighting. I mean, all these issues, Lakeside hears it all the time, and that's why they're going to pair you up with one of their in-house designers. Yes, I intentionally said in-house because every single person over there at Lakeside's in-house. They're not outsourcing to some third party you have to hound and be stressed about. They're going to make sure that the job is done right, and they're going to work with you from start to finish. Plus, Lakeside Renovation and Design is going to back up their work with a lifetime warranty. Again, it's Lakeside Renovation and Design, lakesiderd.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Marc Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
Hats off to one of our regular listeners, Lisa, on Facebook, for essentially guessing it. If you were listening before we went into commercial break, you heard me talking about this homeschooling couple who ended up getting 50 days in prison for their curriculum, their homeschool curriculum. And when I say homeschool curriculum and them being jailed over it, I mean what was not in their homeschool curriculum is essentially what got them jailed. And it was in Brazil, so this is not here, but do not be fooled. Don't pretend like this could not happen here. And that's why I bring this up, because we talk about homeschooling parents being under attack, and these states, these liberal states in particular, trying to come down on people and say, you must include this. You can't talk about that. We're going to take away your kids if you do that. I mean, this is a serious problem, and this is why we have to push back.
England?
Well, so in Brazil, yes, in Brazil, they didn't include essentially gay stuff like LGBTQ stuff and DEI curriculum. And what's very interesting is that the prosecutor actually said that they just need to drop this whole thing. But the judge kind of doubled down on it and said that it was a problem, that they needed to include the DEI stuff and include LGBTQ information into the curriculum and put the parents in jail for 50 days. And you might think, well, 50 days. The fact that they were in jail for 2 seconds is 2 seconds too long.
Yes.
That's psychotic that parents were jailed over this.
And here's the thing, and again, thank goodness for the Constitution in the United States. In these other countries that don't have one, you're reminded of the abuse the left could get away with, and the right, for that matter, if we didn't have these protections.
But we really don't have as many protections as we think. And I say that because look at some of these states where people have been foster parents, or
that's true.
they've adopted
kids
and they've had kids taken away because they've refused to affirm the kid who identifies as a different gender or a furry or whatever. So yeah, we have a constitution here that many other countries don't have, and we're so grateful for that. But unfortunately, these liberal judges, these liberal run states are not adhering to that, and they are quite literally taking children away from parents.
And it's what we've gotten into with the Department of Education, right? It's why so many people have been in support of completely eliminating that was created by Jimmy Carter for the teachers unions in 1980, and test scores have dropped like a rock since then, and they have actively worked against homeschoolers because they don't like the fact that they lose control of those children.
Mm-hmm.
They can't brainwash them.
Listen to this. It says the court also cited the girls, by the way, the parents have 2 girls. The court also cited the girls' musical tastes as evidence of cultural neglect, because neither daughter expressed a liking for trap, never even heard of that, an American hip-hop subgenre popular in Brazil and some other Brazilian folk genre. And they concluded that the parents had failed to provide adequate cultural education. Both of the girls are accomplished pianists and speak multiple languages, but that wasn't enough.
That's not enough. Wow. I thought John Kennedy had the best line on that when he was asked whether or not we should trust Iran in this whole MOU. Hold on. Am I in preview? I think I was in preview here. Hold on.
Unless you were homeschooled by a day drinker, no one's confident that Iran's going to do anything.
Yeah, John Kennedy always has the best one-liners.
Unless you were homeschooled by a day drinker. I mean, I guess that could be a problem.
Those are the parents that people need to be going after. The ones who are quote unquote homeschooling their kids, but they are neglecting them, right? They're saying that, but they're not doing any sort of education. But I know plenty of people who are phenomenal parents who homeschool.
Absolutely. You have to be
that's
on your
that's
game.
who these states are coming after. They're coming after the Christians who refuse to go along with this LGBTQIA ideology and brainwash their kids with it. And it's so sad that that's who many of these states are choosing to attack.
Well, and hats off to the people that do it. Just like Bendy said on there earlier, Missouri's a great state for homeschooling. And it's really scary. Lisa said that these parents were jailed over it. Yeah, I mean, if the state had its way, they would all act like that. They don't. That's why you have to protect yourself against tyranny.
We can't get
every time you turn around.
Just because we're in Missouri, and we are blessed. I agree, Bendy, to be here in Missouri, where it is a great state. But we can't get complacent. We can't pretend like if we don't keep pushing back that this couldn't eventually happen.
All right, coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk to a law professor who is arguing that the Constitution has been subverted in many ways over the years and is misunderstood in many ways. We're going to talk to him coming up here at about 8:20. Ryan Wiggins, host of Wiggins America, is going to be joining us as well at about 8:35. We'll be right back.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
If you've been thinking about refinancing, don't let the cost of an appraisal hold you back. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. For a limited time, Golden Oak is offering a credit of up to $600 towards your appraisal at closing. Call today for a free mortgage checkup and see if you could lower your payment, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or put your home's equity to work. But apply by July 31st.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
She got emotional on TV again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Savannah Guthrie choked up on the NBC Today show with the latest update on her missing mother, Nancy.
I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something. We are in agony.
As we find out, one of the ransom notes after her mother was kidnapped from her Arizona home months ago reported that Nancy died.
The second note sent to media outlets in February following the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie is believed to have said she was, quote, buried with nature. It followed the first note that said she was safe and demanded a ransom of millions of dollars in cryptocurrency in return for Guthrie, who is the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. News outlets agreed to a request by law enforcement not to report on the contents of the notes while they investigate investigated.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Iran is disputing what the U.S. is saying about the weekend talks in Switzerland, denying they agreed to allow nuclear inspectors into the country. But President Trump insists they did, adding they can't be allowed to have weapons.
If Iran doesn't live up to their agreement, or if they're not behaving, I will do what I have to do.
Over the next 60 days, they'll be resolving Iran's nuclear program and the issues surrounding it while keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. With the initial agreement in place, millions of barrels of crude oil are leaving the Persian Gulf each day.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Iran also insists today it can spend the money the U.S. unfreezes however it wants. But on Truth Social, the president posted this morning, funds the U.S. is releasing for Iran will be controlled by the U.S. and used to buy food and medical supplies exclusively from the U.S. It's primary day in Utah and Maryland and New York, where several socialist and progressive candidates are hoping to follow Zoran Mamdani's lead after he was elected socialist mayor of New York City.
We're doing that again because this movement is unstoppable.
Claire Valdez has Mamdani's support, so do several others in races for seats in Congress. There are runoffs today in South Carolina, too. America's listening to Fox News.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Sunny, 61 degrees here downtown at the Arch. It is 8:03. Here's what's making headlines on this Tuesday, June 23rd. A St. Louis firefighter is on administrative leave after he was caught on video pooping in a box at Lambert Airport. Yes, I cannot make this up. The incident happened back on June 10th. He was seen on surveillance video with his pants down, holding the box behind him. His name has not been released because he's not been criminally charged, though we do know he's been with the fire department since 1995. Lambert says firefighters are on site 24/7 to provide fire protection at the airport. A warning from St. Louis police after a man was shot when he confronted a group of teenagers shooting off fireworks. Fireworks are illegal to shoot off here in the city, though obviously people don't care. Police say they will respond to calls about illegal fireworks, though understandably it is going to be a low priority, they say. They also say parents could be cited for their kids shooting them off. By the way, the man who confronted those teens and was shot is thankfully expected to be okay. Senator Josh Hawley says Major League Baseball has assured him the San Francisco Giants players who wrote scripture on their hats during Pride Night will not be punished. Hawley shared the letter on X saying that the MLB commissioner admits they were wrong to threaten the Giants players over the Bible verses they'd written and promised to never fine or discipline those players or any players for their religious beliefs. In sports, Cardinals beat the Diamondbacks yesterday 3-2. Game 2 tonight at Busch Stadium starts at 6:45. And did you hear Blues icon Keith Tkachuk being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame? Tkachuk spent 9 of his 18 seasons in the NHL right here in St. Louis with the Blues. Keep in mind he was already inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame back in 2024, so this new induction will happen November 9th in Toronto. Coming up on 8:05, 61 degrees. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got some accidents causing problems this morning. Southbound 61, there was one near North Point Prairie Road. Another one eastbound 70 past Lake St. Louis Boulevard. They got that one moved off to the right side. An accident eastbound 364 past K. That one they also pushed off to the right. And an accident reported now southbound 270. Just a little bit north of the Rock Road, and that's creating a jam. Now, we've got some volume along eastbound 64. That's mainly Timberlake Manor, and then between Lindbergh and Big Bend. Westbound still lines up approaching Hampton out through McCausland. We've got southbound 170 with some volume south of the Rock Road, headed down towards 64. Eastbound 270 jams at the Chain of Rocks Bridge, that of course due to road work. Northbound 270, slow pockets of moderate volume 55 through Manchester. And northbound 55, a little slow there at the 44 split. On the Illinois side, slow-moving traffic in pockets on 64 westbound, approaching 159 through 157, then jamming again at the 70 split. And we've also got 5570 eastbound slowing past 203 and some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by I3 Broadband. With kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. So switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-4585 to upgrade. i3 Broadband is here for you. Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Let's enjoy some beautiful summer weather on this Tuesday across St. Louis. Plenty of sunshine and nice. 81 for the high later on today. Tonight, a few clouds around, but all is dry. 64 Wednesday and Thursday. Partly sunny skies. Couple of thunder showers around. Showers here and there, but very limited both days. And both days in the mid-80s. An increase in rain and some thunderstorms Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, a nice start here on this Tuesday morning. Sunny, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. It is 8:07. You can take the show with you wherever you go. Listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show from anywhere. All you have to do is download our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you as we welcome you in on this Tuesday morning. I hate to break this news to everyone listening, but ladies and gentlemen, we have lost Tucker Carlson and his support for anything to do with the Republican Party. I know you'll all be shedding a tear in your coffee this morning over that news, but I thought I would bring that to you.
Is anyone really that surprised?
I wouldn't think so. I listened to some analysis this morning. Of course, the left will take any opportunity it can to jump on news like that as some indication of a larger trend, and that people aren't seeing the forest for the trees, and this is huge. But they drew the conclusion that it's weird because this anti-Israel infatuation is affecting both sides of the political aisle, and the guy admitted it's worse for the Democrats. But when you have people like Tucker Carlson, who's supported the Republicans for 35 years and has been a vocal supporter, to suddenly turn his back on the party over this issue shows that it is a growing issue in both parties.
Yeah, you have Tucker Carlson, you have Candace Owens in the same camp, and Megyn Kelly has kind of said little things that make you think she could be on this trajectory, but hasn't quite gone as far as Tucker and Candace.
Yes. I'll play a little bit of that for you. I don't know. I mean, to my thinking, Tucker had kind of already moved out of frame. I've not paid any attention to him. I haven't watched his podcast in ages. Like, I used to even be signed up for it so I would get an alert when he dropped a new episode, and I unsubscribed from that, and I just don't pay any attention till he says something outrageous like he said this morning. And he's just infatuated with it. He is eaten up with his hatred of Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel, and he blames them for all of our problems, which I just don't agree with at all. But glad you're with us here, however you got here. If you're watching us on X, YouTube, Rumble, thank you for that. We're on the Window World webcam. Simply the best for less. We always appreciate their support. Yesterday, they brought you our live picture from Whitmore Golf Course. We were out there at the club for the Folds of Honor tournament, where they were expecting to raise somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000. All that money goes to scholarships for the spouses, the survivors of military members, and they've added first responders to that now too. So it's money that goes to a great cause, and I was glad we could help.
Great organization, but it's funny. You said we're at the club when we were live from there yesterday, and that's really the only kind of club I like these days, a country club, because not a fan of clubbing anymore.
You don't want to go out till there's going to be a curfew in the Grove this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Just be warned if those were your late night plans on Saturday night, you got to be out of the club by midnight. And a lot of people are very mad about it. They've been prepping. What's the fresh?
Prepping in what way, Mark?
I'm just saying they've been using
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. They've been ordering their HelloFresh, and now they're going to have to leave the club early. So I'm sorry about that.
Do people even realize that? I don't know how many people would ever just go to the Grove on a given weekend, but it's Pride Fest. Heads up. So anywhere around the city, you'll be inundated with all of that stuff. And the bars are mad because apparently the mayor told them they have to close at midnight. Last year, they got to stay open until 1:30, but 2 people were shot. There were all these street fights, so the city's cracking down. I'm actually grateful for this. And they said you have to close by midnight, but the bars are trying to say, you're pretending like this was some sort of a conversation that we were all on board with it, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. You kind of announced this, and we're expected to adhere to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the city's having to put out the resources to deal with the issues. They hire private security, I've been told, but there are issues every single year when people get a little out of control for the Pride festivities, for whatever reason. All right, coming up, we are going to get to Ryan Wiggins here at the bottom of the hour. Ryan is going to be in here talking about his subject, whatever he's talking about for Wiggins America this weekend. I'm not sure what he's discussing today. It'll be a surprise. Maybe a new poll that's out. We'll
loves polls.
He does love polls.
POLLS, I should clarify.
I'm glad you brought that up. Also, we're going to have a law professor coming up in the next segment. He's a law professor at the University of Minnesota, but he's talking about the Constitution. Here we are celebrating the 250th. How much of it do we still follow? Do we follow correctly? We're going to have that conversation straight ahead. But first, I want us to get to this morning's short list.
The Marc Cox Short List, presented by Rhino Shield.
But I can't pretend I'm not here. And so since I am, I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something.
Savannah Guthrie, just a short time ago on the Today Show, reacting to this news that within one of the ransom notes, the person admitted that her mother had died accidentally and they would return the body in return for a payment. And Savannah said this morning, we believe that those notes were real, but we're still waiting for a response, is basically what she was saying this morning.
You can look at Chicago. Look at places like Providence, Rhode Island. Look at Baltimore. Look at St. Louis. Look at Oakland. This has been generational decline, and their answer seems to be more decline.
It's true. It's true. Thank you, Laura Ingram, for pointing it out. And St. Louis made the Ingram angle last night. How about that? She's talking about this trend to elect socialists. Like, she goes, in all these big cities, we've seen it decline for years under current Democrat policies. Now they've decided it hasn't gone far enough left. Let's go a little further and elect a socialist. Oh, my God.
A Venezuelan illegal alien who formerly worked as a teacher in Illinois is under arrest tonight. The Homeland Security Department says the suspect drove 2 Tren de Aragua gang members who shot up a Chicago house party, killing 3 people in December of 2024.
Here we go again. Someone who shouldn't be here killing American citizens. How about that? Not a surprise. Should have been in jail, but got let out.
They don't abide by the
Well,
memorandum
nuclear
of
weapon
understanding.
supersedes depression. Depression's real bad. Nuclear weapon will cause depression much more quickly. The way we're doing it, we have the opposite of a depression. We're doing really well. The numbers are incredible.
Yeah. That's the president yesterday. The question was, Mr. President, you said that there might be a depression if dealing with Iran. And he goes, listen, a nuclear weapon supersedes depression. I need to worry about, like, would another war with Iran push us into a depression? I'm more worried about whether or not these idiots are going to drop a nuclear weapon than I am whether or not the economy is facing a depression.
Mm-hmm.
You should be too.
Yep. Well, okay, so going back to this whole thing with enriched uranium, and they're talking about how inspectors for a while now have been going over there, but they weren't given easier access. So this whole MOU with Iran is supposed to give better access, where they essentially can announce kind of on a whim saying, hey, we're coming right now, and we need to see if you have any enriched uranium if you're trying to basically build back these nuclear weapons.
Well, hopefully we've got some guarantees built in there. It's still a work in progress, but there are a lot of people who are wanting to hate it before it's even done. I say give it a chance at least. Let's take a look at what they're doing. Coming up, we'll talk to this professor who's taking a hard look at the Constitution and how much we're really following it these days. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning. I'll tell you what, for such a beautiful day weather-wise, we have had all kinds of issues. Now, there was an accident earlier on eastbound 70 approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Looks like they have that cleared, but we still have some slow-moving traffic eastbound 70 through the construction zone on either side of 61. And there's an accident southbound 61 near North Point Prairie Road that has caused a delay. Eastbound 64 slowing on either side of 170. And we're busy. If you're headed into Illinois, there was an accident eastbound 6440 headed for the Poplar Street Bridge and a jam behind it. On the Illinois side, an accident reported on westbound on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. 64, they've got another accident reported, and this one is westbound approaching 157. It's slowing again at the 5570 split. It's that kind of morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, it's beautiful outside. It's going to rain the next few days. Why don't you call up Curtis Carell and ask him to come and inspect your roof today? I think that would be a good plan because, listen, they're going to come out when it's raining. I'm just kidding you. But they'd love to do it when it's dry. Let him get up there and take a look. If they find a problem, they can fix it for you quickly, right? If you need a new roof, they can work with you and they can make sure that you're getting what you need from your insurance company. That's what Curtis kind of prides himself on. He's worked with his employees to train them so that they know when they get up on a roof, if they're up there working with an adjuster, what you need to prove in order to make a claim successfully. And he's got a lot of experience in this, and he's very good at it. And even if you've been denied on a roofing claim, let Curtis take another go at it, because if he truly believes that you deserve a new roof, he's going to fight for you. And this is the kind of person you want on your side. Curtis is a great guy. He's a great human being. He's a father. He's a veteran. And you're really going to love having him over. Let him come over and give you an estimate. If you're looking for roofing, you're going to get estimates. Get somebody you can trust up on your roof. 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Call him today. Tell him Marc Cox sent you. It's CorellRoofingCo.com.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings right now. 3 rooms clean starting at $129. Plus, take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
Today,
The cards, the D-backs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:45. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
The time now is 8:21, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, how fitting. We're about to talk about the Constitution. The Supreme Court of the United States is about to issue some rulings here in 40 minutes or so at around 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. And some of those are big, major issues like birthright citizenship and other ones. And, you know, when we talk as conservatives about the Supreme Court, I'm often wanting somebody who's an originalist, who's going to interpret the Constitution. What does that actually mean? Our guest this morning is Ilan Wurman. He's a professor, a law professor at the University of Minnesota, and he's the author of The Constitution of 1789, a new introduction, and he's also got a podcast on these issues. Professor, welcome to the show. How are you?
Mark, thanks so much for having me. Really excited to chat.
Absolutely. So what is the basis? What made you write this book?
Well, as with actually 2 of my other books, I was forced by my dean to teach a subject, in this case, constitutional law. Well, I wasn't forced, but that subject I wanted to teach. And so I said, hey, what are people saying about the original meaning of legislative power, executive power, foreign affairs, war? And there just wasn't a generally accessible single volume introduction to the Constitution. So that was sort of the immediate impetus to write that generally accessible introduction to, as you said, Mark, the original meaning of the Constitution's various provisions involving separation of powers and federalism. And so I've been working on it for the last 8 years or so, and I really wanted to get it out in time for America 250 because I really think the Constitution, the original meaning of the Constitution, should make us proud as Americans. The Constitution was an outgrowth of the American Revolution. And I think if we just recovered its original meaning, that it would be really, really normatively desirable. And I think it would be worthy of our veneration and respect. And so that's kind of what I was trying to do.
I would agree. Where have we strayed the most?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I could actually go through like every provision of the Constitution.
Does one stand out?
Well, I do think that the scope of federal power is a much bigger divergence than people think. So people know about the commerce power, and after the New Deal, the Supreme Court basically approved a massively expansive role for Congress in the economy. So things that historically could only be regulated by the states, like production, manufacturing, agriculture, labor, mining, those kinds of things, they preceded interstate commerce. Well, in the sort of high watermark of the New Deal jurisprudence, the Supreme Court approved a congressional imposition of a quota on a farmer who was growing wheat on his own farm for his own consumption entirely within one state's lines. It wasn't even commerce, let alone interstate commerce. And they said Congress could reach it. But what people also don't know is that Congress does not have an independent power, historically, as an original matter, to spend money for the general welfare. It can spend money in pursuance of its enumerated powers. But since the New Deal, the first clause in the enumeration of Congress's power has been interpreted to give Congress a free-floating power to spend for the general welfare beyond the enumeration of power. This is how we get Social Security and a lot of other welfare programs. The most controversial part of my book, I would say, and I'm a pretty controversial guy, Mark, okay? Most The most controversial part is the last chapter, where I say that a lot of federal welfare programs are probably unconstitutional as an historical matter because they're in this free-floating independent welfare power. I could talk about presidential power and the delegation of legislative power, and courts are out of control today. They don't understand the original judicial function. There's so much for your readers if they wanted to get the book.
The Constitution's constantly under attack, particularly from the left. I'm curious. We see so many of these liberal judges, and these rulings are just insane happening across the country. Being a law professor at the University of Minnesota, do you have much hope? I mean, what's the trend that you're seeing as you're starting to teach these students about law, especially from your perspective?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. And if you don't mind, because you mentioned the podcast at the beginning, I talk a lot about this on the podcast. I'm on a podcast called Rationally Based. So we're based, we're pretty, hard right, and we take that as a sort of compliment, but we're law professors, and so we provide sort of the intellectual defense of a lot of what, President Trump is trying to do. And one thing that we talk a lot about is exactly what you just said, is that the judges are out of control. And it has to do with this conception of judicial power. The framers rejected this idea that judges should be a council of revision, right? So there's this proposal in the Constitutional Convention to submit all legislation in advance to a council of, wise and learned judges who would then tell us whether it's constitutional or not in the abstract. The framers rejected that because they understood that judges would necessarily have to opine about law in deciding actual cases and controversies, between concrete individual parties. But today, district judges act like this council of revision. Anybody, who walks her dog in front of the White House has standing to sue over the East Wing, right? So there are all of these problems today in judicial doctrine where causes of action are just sort of ignored. Standing requirements are totally loosened. And anybody can get in court in front of one of 600 judges. They could pick the favorable judge. They could pick a favorable state. And then they just sort of enjoin and restrain the government nationwide. This was never how judicial power worked. The judicial power is the power to make judgments in individual cases. It's the power to resolve disputes between two individuals, a plaintiff and a defendant. And in so doing, you have to decide what the law is applicable to the situation. But that's it. You don't just sit in judgment as this council of revision that the framers rejected.
Yeah, it's crazy, out of hand. The book is The Constitution of 1789, a new introduction by Ilan Wurman. You can find it on Amazon. Professor, thank you for your time. Maybe we can have you on again.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You bet. And we'll be back with Ryan Wiggins. Stay tuned.
Hi, Sandy. What's that? I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot. What's 4? Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now.
Meta said it will pause an internal program that tracks employee mouse movements and digital activity for AI training as the social media giant investigates data security concerns. The pause was first reported on by Business Insider. The company's announcement follows revelations that sensitive employee data was accessible to all Meta staffers. Gas station operators, including BP, Circle K, 7-Eleven, Walmart, and more, have been sued by California drivers who accuse them of using artificial intelligence to boost prices at the pump. Drivers said gas prices have risen as much as 30 cents a gallon in areas where high percentages of stations use the AI tool. Micron Technology said it has signed an agreement with Anthropic that includes supply of memory and storage products. AI developers are racing to secure critical components for increasingly expensive data center build-outs. Futures have dropped this morning. Dow futures down by more than 200 points. NASDAQ futures down by more than 900 points. That's your money now.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
The board recommends approving.
Regarding that seat on the committee, we're promoting.
To boost quarterly earnings.
Every day, shareholders meet to discuss important matters about the companies you invest in. Now you can easily make your voice heard. Vanguard Investor Choice gives you a say in the companies you invest in. With just a few taps, you can set your proxy voting preference for your index funds. Visit Vanguard.com/investor choice to learn more. Vanguard investors own shares of our index funds, which own shares of the companies they invest in. Available for Vanguard index funds that participate in Investor Choice. Vanguard Marketing Corporation distributor.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning. Well, we've had some issues on the roads this morning, and northbound 270, still some slow pockets, mainly moderate volume, but 55 through Manchester. Traffic slowing in both directions north of 64 in the construction zone. Eastbound 70, a little slow there at Wentzville. Southbound 61 is still jammed. There was an accident near North Point Prairie Road, and it caused a delay. Eastbound 70, not too bad. 367 is okay at 270, but eastbound 270 is slowing at the Chain of Rocks Bridge. That's all due to road work. We've got westbound 40 still lined up Hampton out through the inner belt. There was an accident on eastbound 6440, really close to, well, we'll call it east of Jefferson. And it really has caused a delay behind it. There's volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge and on 64 before you even get to 70. It's just one of those mornings. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. They do everything from siding to kitchens, and they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, the dry weather is a blessing, but it's not going to last for long. If you looked at that weather forecast, it looks like we could be in for a pretty rainy stretch of weather, maybe for the rest of the week. And that's the time when you need to think about your basement and maybe your foundation and whether or not it leaks. If it does, I got the guy for you, and his name is Matt Hayes. He is a foundation specialist. He runs a small, locally owned company called Home Shield Foundation Repairs. He can fix what's ailing your foundation. Take my word for that. He's going to be honest with you about it. There are companies in town, and I mean, Matt doesn't like to badmouth anyone, but he does say that there are companies in town that have sales quotas. And when they come over, they're trying to sell you a waterproofing package instead of just fixing what your problem is and moving along. So his commitment is to do that. You call him at 314-271-9900, and he'll get it fixed. He'll get you dry, and then he'll give you a lifetime warranty on the work that he's done. If you need a sump pump, you need a crack filled, you need drain tiles, whatever it happens to be, he fixes the problem. And he moves on and gives you a lifetime warranty. 314-271-9900 or online. Tell him Mark sent you. It's HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Hey, it's Annie with my friend Stewie here. Stewie, interest rates, I think they're eking up a little bit. Buyers are still looking to purchase homes, though. What are you doing to help these purchasers be the most competitive they can be?
Annie, this is a great opportunity. We're running this awesome promotion. So we know the interest rates are climbing. We know those bidding wars out there are crazy. So what are you going to do with the higher interest rates? How are you going to afford the house? What are you going to do? Here's the answer. We're going to give you 1% less than whenever you lock the loan is for the first year you're making those payments. You lock the rate at 6.5%. You're going to get 5.5%. Whatever the story is, that first year, you're paying 1% less. This gives you an opportunity to afford the house now. Later on, we all believe rates are going to drop. You can refinance with the bagel loan, no closing costs. Do that before the adjustment back to the regular interest rates. You're way ahead of the game.
You're talking to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, and that bagel loan, it's a must-get, no closing costs. Call him or text him directly. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Ah, Corey, from your comfort service? Why are you standing next to my AC?
I'm standing behind our work.
But it's 8 p.m. You're just going to stand behind my air conditioner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Could you turn off the sprinkler then?
Absolutely. At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, we take pride in our work. If you need a new air conditioner or HVAC system, you can trust we'll install the equipment correctly. Plus, for a limited time, qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing for up to 72 months. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
You can point to, look at Chicago. You know, look at places like Providence, Rhode Island. Look at Baltimore. Look at St. Louis. Look at Oakland. This has been generational decline, and their answer seems to be more decline.
More of the same. And this is why it's so important that we made it into the final for the governor's race in California, because in LA, you're going to see a contest between left and insanely further left, right?
Wiggins! Ryan is in studio with us this morning. That was on the Laura Ingraham show. She had Steve Hilton on last night talking about elections and the fact that in big blue cities across the country, as bad as it's been for the past 20 or 30 years in terms of financial decline and budget problems and defunding the police, instead of looking for new solutions, they've decided to go harder left in many of these cases. And they're running a lot of candidates this time, Ryan, who are self-described socialists. Fox had an entire story on it this morning.
So it's not real exciting to make the news in that way. But I was having several conversations this weekend with people about these topics, like specifically because we live in Illinois. We, as in me and my family, not you guys. But why can't Illinois elect a Republican governor anymore? You know, and why can't Spencer Pratt get into the election in L.A., these kind of things? Well, it's because Republicans are moving out of those areas. Mm-hmm. And so when you go, don't bring your politics to Texas and that stuff, they're not. Like, it's actually Republicans that are moving to red areas. And that is statistically bearing out in elections and in polls and trends and things. And so you see that a lot of these, what's happening generally in the United States is that red states are getting bigger and redder, and blue states are getting bluer and smaller. And that applies to cities as well. And so overall, you're going to see Republicans really getting more electoral power because of that, because of the census and because of redistricting and gerrymandering and so forth. But I brought this article talking about the swing districts in the United States coming up for this midterm election. Republicans in the National Republican NRCC, that's what the acronym is, have been tracking swing districts in the United States for the House since 2020 and beyond that.
Right.
But they've been tracking these specific 28 districts since at least 2020. And the thing is, they don't need to track 28 of them anymore because we've changed the map enough, everybody has, that there's really only down to about 15 seats or 18 seats that matter somewhere in there now, because the swing states, it used to be like 40 of them back, a few years ago. Now it's down to about 15 to 20 that are actually swing seats in the House. And amazingly, among those they've been tracking, just since 2024, so not all the way back to 2020, but just since the last election, Democrats have lost more than 275,000 registered voters in those swing districts.
Wow.
And nobody's really talking about that because they're talking about more, like Democrats really are touting national numbers right now. And they're true, but they benefit them more in the Senate at statewide races, not in the House.
Well, those are just the illegals who were deported. Is that right?
I can't speak to that. The article doesn't say.
Where did they go?
Babies who haven't been born yet?
So I guess Democrats have just left these swing districts, or they've deregistered as Democrats. We don't know if they've actually left or they've just become not Democrats anymore. But it's based on voter registration in these 28 swing districts. So here's the other really amazing number is that since they've been tracking it since 2020, if you go all the way back to there, Republicans edge on Democrats. So that includes people becoming registered Republicans or less registered Democrats, has swung 737,000 voters toward Republicans in just these 28 swing districts. So we talk about the House being a problem for the Republicans in the coming up midterms. Well, national trends do look, always, when the party in power comes into a midterm election, it's tough on that party. And so I'm not saying it's not going to be. But these trends really kind of buck that, and they show that Republicans have a much better chance of keeping the House than it looks.
Well, it would explain why you have people like Jamel Hill, who spent a lot of time yesterday on CNN trying to explain to the entire country why why the Electoral College is racist. Listen to this.
Anybody who studied any small bit of history knows that Electoral College is rooted in slavery. That was the entire reason that it was invented, essentially. And we should have gotten from up under it a long time ago, and not just because you have two women quite capable who lose the election. So I don't have a problem with her argument. I think it's probably correct. And I think most people in this country, you want to, a big reason there's a lot of apathy is because a lot of people feel like their vote doesn't matter. And the reason they feel that way is because they look at things like, okay, let me get this straight. We can all agree and all, from a popular vote standpoint, vote for a candidate and that candidate still lose, and that the math doesn't math for them. So it's like, why are we clinging to the system? If anybody should
Yeah, so her argument is that the Electoral College is racist, which nothing could be further from the truth. The Electoral College was necessary, but the reason this is coming up again right now is just what you're talking about. They've realized that these swing states where they used to have a little bit of a blue wall have disappeared, and they're going to continue to lose those same states in each election, or they may lose enough of them to lose the presidency. So they see their only answer would be to overwhelm the vote with some sort of a national vote where they can harvest ballots in California and get millions of extra votes for their candidates, potentially, and then try to win the presidency that way.
Yeah, it's just suddenly, this isn't working for us anymore, then let's change it.
It's like the Supreme Court. Let's stack the court. It's not working for us anymore, so let's stack it with 6 more people that ideologically agree with us.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's what the argument is. They'll say, well, it's racist and stuff, and no, like nobody pushes back. Like, okay. But that's why they're arguing for these things, is because of exactly what I said at the beginning of the segment, which is blue states are getting smaller. And so they're going to have less and less power. And then I think even in the last census, we don't talk about this enough. We really should talk about this enough. In the 2020 census, after Biden got into office, they just robbed Republican states of at least 4 seats. And that is a well-known fact. That's not a conspiracy. Both parties admit that the census was accidentally miscounted and benefited Democrats in the 2020 census. So that in the past, they just said, well, we're just going to have to leave that. Nobody's addressed it, which is really unfortunate.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And that is a major swing. I mean, that's almost, depending on how you count it, you're talking about 4 to 6 seats that swung to Democrats illegally. I mean, they just counted them wrong. And you can say, well, of course they did on purpose. They were in power and they counted the census wrong in favor of Democrat states. That's like just giving Democrats Iowa in an election. You know, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, just giving them a full state like that or a small state.
Somebody's got to know. I mean, somebody had to know. Why didn't they raise more hell?
I think it's because it took so long for Republicans to get back into power that they really couldn't do anything until 2020, last year. You know, they didn't control anything until last year. And there's just so many other things going on that there has been talk about redoing the census mid-decade, though.
I know.
And I wish they would.
I think they definitely need to. And there was more evidence yesterday. We'll talk about this coming up. Can you hang around?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Ryan Wiggins is going to stay in studio with us. The Justice Department said Monday 3 more non-citizens have confessed to having knowingly voted in federal elections and registering even though they knew it was illegal to do so. This is why states want to protect their voter rolls and not show these blue states who's registered. There are thousands. I would argue tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have done this, is my suspicion. We'll talk about it more when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we're thinning out nicely as far as traffic goes. Eastbound 70, a little slow at 64. And again, just east of K, we've got some volume, too, at Timberlake Manor. And most of it is between Lindbergh and Big Bend, and it's just moderate. And westbound still slow approaching Hampton, out through Hanley. We've got some volume on northbound 270, mainly moderate approaching Gravois through Manchester, but southbound slowing at Ladue Road. And we still have a jam eastbound 6440 as you head toward 12th Street, right? The Tucker area. There was an accident through there that left us with a jam near Grand. And we've still got some volume westbound 64 at the 5570 split and headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by McKelvey Homes. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
What makes your home beautiful to you was when you bought it? Was it the inside or was it the outside? I mean, obviously everybody likes to be proud of the outside of their home. If that architectural form, whatever it was, is what attracted you to your home, why would you want to alter that by having to cover it up with vinyl siding or something like that? Call Rhino Shield. My friend Darren can take this amazing product that is very simply 10 times thicker than regular thin paint you get at a big box store, and he'll cover your house. It will last for 25 years. They'll guarantee that. And you maintain that look that you fell in love with. They can paint right over unpainted brick or painted brick for that matter, or hardy cement board siding, whatever you happen to have on there. They can paint over it with Rhino Shield, and it looks gorgeous. It's beautifully durable. It holds its color. It rejects the sun's rays. You get some insulating factor there, and the weather just can't beat it. There's nothing the nature can throw at it that Rhino Shield can't handle. I've had it on my house. I'm a satisfied customer. You will be too. Call Darren today. Your evaluation is always free. He'll come out and he'll tell you what he can do for you. Just call him at 877-25-RHINO. Tell him Mark sent you, or go to 877-25rhino.com.
We're here to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. This is 97.1 FM Talk. America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
The United States government, the National Security Agency, intercepted conversations of President Zelensky's government in Ukraine in 2022, late 2022, conspiring with federal workers at the USAID to come up with a plan to take $200 million of USAID money. That is your money, folks, taxpayer money, route it through a series of transactions, move it into the United States, and launder it into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign and the Democratic National Committee.
That's John Solomon from Just the News. If you missed that, it's part of that dump that Tulsi Gabbard did right before she left office with all these documents that she wanted people to see. The other big one she did was on COVID and how many different ways the U.S. was involved in research labs in other countries where they could get away with doing gain-of-function research that you couldn't do in the United States. And I'm hoping in that particular case, there are going to be some arrests soon. I don't know. Fauci's got some blanket immunity, but other people knew about this. And now Rand Paul has subpoenaed Fauci for testimony again. He's Homeland Security chairman right now, and he has asked for a subpoena issued Monday for the former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director Tony Fauci to try to explain some of this stuff that was released by DNI Gabbard on her last day in office. Your thoughts?
This is good. I mean, this is Rand Paul has got to be the arch nemesis of Fauci.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy's got to go to sleep thinking, oh no, Rand Paul might be thinking about me today.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but this is great. This is really good news to hear that. And what did he say at the beginning? John Solomon say at the beginning? Did he say 220 million?
Yeah, like wasn't it 400 million? I think.
400 million.
It seems like that's what he said.
Number.
Let's see again. Let's listen to it.
The United States government, the National Security Agency, intercepted conversations of President Zelensky's government in Ukraine in 2022, late 2022, conspiring with federal workers at the USAID to come up with a plan to take $200 million of USAID money. That is your money, folks, taxpayer money, route it through a series of transactions, move it into the United States, and launder it into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign.
And it's under investigation right now.
$200 million that they were. Well, the important part of that is not just the number, but they've got them conspiring.
Yes.
That's huge.
Because that doesn't have an expiration date on it.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That's great.
Yeah, the other story that I started to read to you earlier is the Justice Department said Monday 3 non-U.S. citizens in Florida have been confessed to having knowingly voted in federal elections despite not being eligible to do so. The 3 voted in Florida. 2 of them admitted to voting in the 2020 election. A third, a Brazilian national, voted in a federal election in 2024 after becoming a lawful permanent resident. And if the migrants have been identified, well, it doesn't matter what their name is really, but they admitted to applying for and getting having an ID and using it and lying about their citizenship. They falsely claimed to be U.S. citizens so they could register to vote. This is why Democrats don't want to release their voter rolls, because if you applied the test that employers have to apply, E-Verify, to each one of these Social Security numbers, you'd immediately know who was legal and who wasn't. Chuck Schumer admitted this week it could force 25 million people off the rolls. 25 million? He said the quiet part out loud. That's what they're afraid of.
I've never heard that number.
He said that. I've got the soundbite.
That seems more than I would even think.
Wow.
How is that even possible?
Well, like I said, if all the Save America Act would do is force you to prove you're a citizen, why would it force 25 million people off the rolls? Are you telling me, Chuck, there are 25 million people on there that shouldn't be?
On. Well, so it'd be illegals. But then remember we were talking to somebody and they were saying that it's people who were like 120 somehow were still registered to vote. People who haven't been born have been somehow registered. Babies.
Which allows fraud to happen.
Remember they registered a dog in California to vote just to show how easy it was?
Yep. And I bet they voted for Gavin Newsom, the dog, by the way. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hey, stand by. There are going to be some big Supreme Court decisions coming out maybe today. In about 4 minutes, the Supreme Court will start to release decisions. Brian Kilmeade and Fox News will have the latest on it. Stay tuned to 97.1 FM Talk all day long. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.